You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
Good morning, it's April the 1st, and welcome to Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News. We're live here from the Legacy420.com news desk. Good morning, Green Irene. How you doing?
Good morning. And you know what? I'm not even going to play any April Fool's jokes on you because you know what? Our government is doing enough.
That's right, it's April Fool's Day today, but it's no joke. We are live.
That's right. That's right. Live and airing broadcasting. Very
That's
cool.
right. That's right. And today in the news, we got some stories about some cannabis legalized, some countries legalizing cannabis as well as a chance for somebody to maybe win free cannabis.
I know.
Not with us, though. Not with us, but one of the articles.
Yeah. And I think that's really kind of cool. Now, I'm not sure how they're legally getting away with that. So it's going to be interesting to read that article, to find out exactly how they're doing that, how they're giving that weed away.
Yeah, exactly. And Ontario's talking about one of the doctors has brought up decriminalization of some drugs. So we'll get into those stories as we go along with the broadcast. So
yes, tune in and share your comments. Be sure to share your comments on the Pace Radio Network, in the chat, or even on the social media, because we can respond most of the time.
Yeah, most of the times. Not every location, but most of them we can respond to. All right. First story of the day comes to us from Microsoft, and it says, "Moo over beer. Germany decriminalizes cannabis."
Woo woo! Some German people drink their beer after work. We just want to smoke our weed, so says Marcel Ritschel, who's celebrating as Germany, traditionally beerland, becomes a more cannabis-friendly country.
Germany, as of April 1st, which is today, partially decriminalized marijuana use. But police unions are warning of real-world harm. The law change may have come on April Fool's Day, but for them, it's no joke.
We meet Marcel Ritschel in the I can't pronounce German words, I'm sorry, area in Dresden, the heart of the city's alternative scene. Here, as in other places, it wasn't hard to find people openly smoking joints, even before the rules were relaxed. Now, that's one of the arguments behind decriminalization. Millions of people were smoking the stuff anyway, and it'll help kill the black market and improve quality control, says supporters.
So what are the new rules? As of April the 1st, over 18 can possess up to 25 grams of cannabis in public. I have read other reports that say that you're allowed to store 50 grams in your house.
Yeah. That's going to be messed up. They're going to have to modify that because the next one says that they can grow 3 plants, right?
3 plants. Yeah, 3 plants. So that's more than 50 grams.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, don't you get, like, when you're growing, like, say in a controlled environment, on the average plant, you can get 9 to 11 ounces per square meter of growth. So in a 5x5, you could have easily these 3 plants, and that's 2.5 square meters. So you're looking at 22 to 25 ounces just from a 5x5 grow tent.
And they're only allowed 50 grams. So there's something that has to be corrected there, obviously.
Yeah,
they say that,
it's got to be worked out for sure.
Yeah. It says that people won't be allowed to smoke joints within sight of schools, sports centers, or in pedestrian zones between 7 and 8 p.m. So that means that you can smoke a joint at 8:10 in front of the sports center.
Well, if nobody's going in or out. And I think the pedestrian zones are like where you're crossing the streets or walking down the sidewalk.
It may even include sidewalks. I can see that. They say as of July the 1st, Growers Association social clubs can be established for up to 500 members. Yeah, I like that. I know that was something that, the folks from BMA and the CTCP were working on that to get social clubs.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be 18, live in Germany. The clubs can grow and distribute cannabis on a strictly not-for-profit basis, and consuming cannabis on site will not be allowed.
Well, then what the hell is the point of the social club? I wouldn't become a member.
Yeah, read the next 2 lines.
Well, Mr. Ritchell is planning on setting up a growers association or cannabis social club that will be allowed under the law from July. A gardening club, but for hemp. I'm getting more confused.
Every gram that goes from the cannabis social club is 1 gram that's not on the black market, he says. So it's a win-win situation.
I don't know who the frig is winning there. These places don't eat like the famed Amsterdam style cannabis coffee shops, obviously, which have themselves been hotly debated in the Netherlands. Now, the not-for-profit clubs in Germany are supposed to be only for people who actually live here, in order to stop a wave of tourists from pouring in to enjoy the liberal cannabis laws. Honey, they're not that liberal.
And I don't understand this. Why shut off tourists? Like, because Amsterdam's, doing the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense from an economic perspective. It really does not. But I'm sure they have their reasons for it.
Yeah. They say there are many caveats and complexities within the legislation, a product of the political controversy that's forced the plans as originally envisioned to be watered down. The halfway house has left people disgruntled on both sides of the debate. I could see that.
Yeah. There are warnings that April 1st will mark the start of a chaos phase for Germany. We assume that the black market will be strengthened, said Alexander Poitz from Something GDP, the German police union.
Yeah.
He believes that the demand will quickly outstrip legal supply, given growing weed at home requires perseverance and care, while it'll be months before the cannabis clubs can start to function.
Yeah, there we are. Okay. Longer term criminal networks will adapt and even infiltrate the social clubs while enforcing the law will be mammoth task, says Mr. Poltz. Smoking cannabis within 100 meters of a children's playground, schools, or sports centers, for example, is not allowed.
Right. So, and also in busy, crowded cities, it may take some dedication to find a spot to light up a spliff that's actually technically legal. There's also problems of how police will be able to tell the difference between a consumer and a dealer. If a person is able to carry up to 25 grams of cannabis, which is enough for a dozen joints.
2 gram joints.
Wow, 2 gram joints. I'm thinking, kill I go to Germany. Because, the average joint, like the average spliff is a half a gram. That's just kind of standard. When we roll one in, say, a zigzag paper, or a Gizeh paper, it's on average a half a gram. So if he's saying a dozen joints, that's 2 gram joints plus.
Those are pretty big joints.
I'm thinking you're going to have a whole lot of friends to enjoy that one. Concerns that cannabis can be addictive and adversely affect mental health have also been voiced by groups such as the Standing Committee of the European Doctors. And, we are looking at a lot of studies, and I suspect they will be as well.
Yes. Yeah, I imagine they will be. Just so you know, my screen bounced around on me there, and I'm on the hunt. There we go. Okay. The new measures will increase use and health-related harms, especially among youth, says CPME Vice President Professor Ray Wally. He says, given under 18s can't take advantage of the new laws, it's thought that many young people will start will resort to drug dealers. Well, I can tell you that here in Canada, we didn't see an increase in the minors' use.
No, we
cannabis.
did not at all. And I think Germany will still be the same as well. Germany
Mhm.
is one on a long list of nations that have wrestled with the pros and cons of decriminalizing cannabis. The government in Berlin cited a 2021 survey which found that 10.7% of men and 6.8% of women had used cannabis at least once in the past 12 months, most commonly in the 18 to 24 age group. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No approach okay. No
Yeah.
approach exists that's been truly successful in killing the black market or preventing youth issues, according to Dr. Robin Hoffman. He's an assistant professor for criminal law and criminology.
Well,
Curbing
legalization, I think, will change a lot of that, much as
Yeah.
it has in, North America here, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just for anybody who's watching, you're watching my screen jump around. Now you understand what I'm going through.
Oh, I can't. I just see the news article. I didn't see your screen jumping around.
Yeah. Oh, it's just
The-
it's
The article,
MS.
yeah, it goes on to say that curbing the black market is a goal that hasn't been fully achieved, even in countries where cannabis has been properly legalized, such as in Canada or Uruguay.
Yeah, just so you know, it jumped so much it jumped into a story on nuclear bombs.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not discussing
I
nuclear
can't even share it now.
There. Well, I'll finish up then, shall I? It's a long
Yeah.
process, says Dr. Hoffman, a marathon, not a sprint. And he's absolutely right. Germany's
Exactly.
journey towards part decriminalization has similarly been a long road in a debate typically pitting left wingers against conservatives. This proposal emerged in 2021 when the three ruling parties carved out their coalition agreement following years of stasis under conservative Chancellor Angela Merkel. The party that Merkel headed, the Christian Democratic Union Party, has already pledged to reverse the changes if it wins power at the next.
Oh, see? Yeah, look, that sounds like Taiwan.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Thai,
it does.
like
Yeah.
Thailand. Yes.
Yeah, Thailand. I think
Exactly.
Thailand.
Marcel Ritschel accepts that the change he's long campaigned for might not last the decade.
Yeah.
Maybe we have 2 years and then it's all over. Yeah, and this is the challenge with changing governments, isn't it?
No, yeah. And you mentioned about the left and right thing, how the conservatives always tend to go against the flow of legalization. We've got a story coming up just on that.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's move on to our next story, because this one also involves. You make sure I get the right. Also involves Germany, because what they found in Germany is that the German opioid patients report using cannabis in place of other drugs.
How cool is that, right?
That's
So
perfect. Yeah.
historically, the cannabis plant was portrayed as the gateway drug by cannabis opponents and many mainstream media outlets, so much like it was here in North America. It was a reefer madness talking point that was perpetuated in films and other works going back as far as the 1930s.
Mhm.
However, a growing body of scientific evidence is proving that the gateway drug talking point is actually just false, unfounded, prohibitionist rhetoric. Many public health advocates and researchers have found that the use of many other substances, including the misuse of household items and pharmaceutical drugs, often predates cannabis use in society.
Yep. Researchers in Germany recently conducted a study examining cannabis use in replacement of the other substances, and the results of the study are promising, especially when considering how much more harmful when many substances are compared to cannabis. They say that nearly 60% of the people undergoing opioid maintenance treatment use cannabis to reduce their cravings of other drugs, including heroin, according to a survey data published in the journal European Archives of Psychiatry and Clinical Neuroscience.
I'm pretty sure I actually just finished reading this survey. It was very interesting. German investigators assessed cannabis use trends in 118 subjects. It was the one that were enrolled in OMT. 57% of respondents acknowledged consuming herbal cannabis, despite its being a violation of the program's rules. Now, nearly half of cannabis consumers said that they used it to reduce cravings for heroin, and 24% acknowledged doing so to reduce cravings for cocaine. Respondents also reported using cannabis as a substitute for alcohol, benzodiazepines, and other controlled substances.
Yeah, the study's authors concluded a substantial proportion of patients using cannabis in our sample reported beneficial effects of cannabis use on cravings for and use of other drugs, in many cases, arguably more harmful substances. They say in brackets here, these results question whether restricting cannabis use in general really promotes health in OMT patients. Overall, our results suggest that cannabis should be considered as a strategy for harm reduction in OMT with the goal to reduce the use of more dangerous drugs.
Right. The results of a 2021 study concluded that those in treatment for opioid use disorder who use cannabis were less likely to suffer from a non-fatal opioid overdose than were the non-cannabis consumers. Other studies have reported that cannabis use is associated with greater opioid treatment retention rates and that it may mitigate opioid-related cravings among dependent subjects.
There we go. There's just yet another report showing the benefits of using cannabis over the opiates.
Well, and yeah, I mean, these reports are becoming as commonplace. Like, we're starting to see these reports become as commonplace as the weather reports.
Yeah.
You know, we're showing, and patient stories are just on the rise. Like, wow, I never would have thought. And look at how wonderful this is working for me. And I mean, the safety of cannabis consumption, it's time for change, and we're making those changes, and it's nice to see it happening globally.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about changes, here's one that's been coming in the news. This comes to us from CBC News, and it says Ontario's top doctor calls for decriminalization limits on legal substances.
Yes. So this is Ontario's top doctor. He's calling on the province to decriminalize possession of unregulated drugs for personal use and make available safer supply, as well as explore the raising legal drinking age from 19 to 21. Dr. Kieran Moore, the province's chief medical officer of health, is also calling on the province to immediately enact a policy that will limit access to alcohol, vapes, and cannabis, as the number of people who have died or visited a hospital due to using multiple substances has spiked in recent years. I feel like that claim is opinion-based.
Yeah, I'm rereading that last sentence. And trying to understand, enact policy that will limit access to alcohol, vapes, and cannabis as a number of people who have died. Well, no one's dying from cannabis consumption.
No.
Like, as far as just from like, you can overconsume an alcohol and die, alcohol poisoning. But I don't know of anybody dying from cannabis poisoning.
Right. It is an over-skewed opinion that, again, this can add to the propaganda, because he's taken, I mean, alcohol and cannabis really just doesn't go together, and you really shouldn't. I mean, alcohol is so bad for you. But anyway, so he's saying alcohol, vapes, and cannabis. All these
Well, we know.
They could have gone in for a fucking heart attack and had THC in their system. Excuse the French.
Yeah. And unfortunate when he lists cannabis as for a number of people who have died. If it was just talking about straight cannabis use, dying from cannabis, it sort of takes away from some of probably the good things that he's talking about here with the safe supply and other things. So, yeah. Moore said more than 2,500 people have died in Ontario each year in the past few years due to toxic drug supply. and the number of opioid-related deaths amongst teens and young adults in Ontario tripled between 2014 and 2021. Research has found a safer drug supply is the solution to immediately prevent thousands more from dying in the coming years, he says.
The system must first take urgent steps to keep people alive, such as creating safe spaces where people can use unregulated drugs and providing regulated pharmaceutical alternatives. So in other words, welcome to your community, another meth clinic coming.
Well, it could be, I look at it as like insight, where people can actually get into a place.
I don't see that.
Take their drugs and get access to health alternatives as far as healthcare.
I watched beautiful family parks up north, where families used to play on a regular basis turn into unsafe havens for needle users. I mean, you can't walk through the park without finding needles.
And we're exactly. So that's the advantage of giving them a place to go, so they're not having to do it in parks. We're not doing it in the back alley.
That's where they put the safe needle consumption space, was in the
park?
family park. Yes.
In the park. Oh, well, obviously they need some little more work at it to keep that park clear. So
maybe a new council.
Okay, keep going.
With these harm reduction responses in place, people who are using opiates may be in a position to benefit from others of education and treatment and to make choices that enable them to reduce or even stop their opiate use, he wrote in the report. When we see preventable threats like substance use that harm too many people too young, devastate families, destroy communities, and reduce life expectancy, we must act.
Morris research suggests multi-pronged recommendations can help officials prevent fatal overdoses and stop people, especially youth, from dangerously and increasingly using multiple legal substances. Hannah Jensen, the spokeswoman for Ontario's Ministry of Health, said in an email on Thursday the government appreciates Moore's recommendations to restrict legal substances while decriminalizing hard drugs.
But Jensen did say that they ignore the unintended consequences of significant public safety concerns experienced by other jurisdictions that have implemented similar proposals, though she did not provide examples. As for decriminalization, Moore said it allows the justice and enforcement systems to focus their resources on stopping the organizations and individuals profiting from unregulated drug sales, rather than on people who use substances whose needs would be better met in the health system.
He noted Ontarians, especially youth, have also been a part of a disturbing trend in recent years of binge drinking and vaping. The report cited recently released data from the Canadian Institute of Health Information found 33% of adults said they used cannabis in 2020, an 8% increase from 2019. And when it released its cannabis survey in 2022, Health Canada reported the number of Ontarians who have died of alcohol toxicity rose 16% from 2018 to 2021.
So again, that brings us right back to it's alcohol that's killing people.
Because there's no cannabis deaths included.
And I hate that he lumped the cannabis in there with those statistics. We've also seen concerning changes in substance use patterns and harms more broadly, including higher rates of vaping among non-smokers, increased unintentional poisonings in children from cannabis ingestion, and an ongoing high burden of hospitalizations and cancers caused by alcohol. Moore said in the report. He said that's why efforts need to be made to shift social norms by making Ontarians more aware of new evidence on alcohol-related harms.
He suggested in the report, for example, that more restrictions on how legal substances are marketed can be implemented to educate people on the harms of substance use. The province does prohibit advertising of alcohol to minors on traditional media outlets like television, radio, and print, but neither the federal or provincial governments limits advertising on social media platforms, which is where youth get most of their information. I don't know. I see alcohol commercials on TV.
I see alcohol commercials all the time. You open up a newspaper and there, the LCBO has the middle of the newspaper, a full page of their wine in the grocery store. I don't like that the story this writer has combined, or that this doctor has combined cannabis with the alcohol because they are two entirely separate issues. But he carries on. He also recommends Ontario explore the value of increasing the legal minimum drinking age from 19 to 21. I think is a good idea. And work with the federal government to require that all alcohol products have warning labels and signage that describes the risk and harms of drinking booze. Again, why this is related to cannabis is beyond me. He said it's common knowledge that Ontarians will continue to use the legal substances.
And I think that's why it's lumped in there, because it's a legal substance.
Yeah.
The challenge is to help people understand the risk and moderate or stop their use. He said limiting the number of deaths and hospital visits due to legal substances, so you use that word again, can save the province billions of dollars. Okay.
Oh my goodness. In 2020,
right.
the harms. Sorry.
I was gonna say, okay, you go on, and I'm gonna deal with the cat that's at the door.
All right.
The rubber seal being torn off.
I'll just wrap this up then. In 2020, the harms associated with substance use cost Ontario about $18 billion, and that's approximately $1,234 per person in healthcare, social, and legal policing costs, says the report. Moore argued that his recommendations need to be implemented with understanding that societal burdens, such as the affordability crisis, are driving more Canadians to use substances. Absolutely true. That's why he said Ontario needs to implement his recommendations while working with all levels of government in developing affordable housing policies, programs for families that reduce the risk of adverse childhood experiences and domestic violence, and initiatives to improve social circumstances. This report calls for an all-of-society approach to improve health and reduce substance use harms, one that recognizes the complexity of human experience with substances, the factors that drive substance use, and the policy environment where public health policies may conflict with economic policies and with the public attitudes and perspectives, he wrote.
There you go.
So he sounds like he wants to make changes, but there's a lot of things he wants to change, and they're all kind of just lumped in there in one big, this needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, and I don't, some of them I don't see the present government making any changes.
I don't see a lot of change on the horizon, unfortunately. And on that note, all that talk is sparking up. I'm going to spark up.
Excuse me. All right, on to our last story before we go. Before we go to break, here we go. This one comes to us from MJ Biz Daily. Republican senators oppose cannabis rescheduling based on global treaties.
So this was
we heard the same thing from our conservative end of the government when cannabis was being legalized with the Liberals. So
That's right. So I thought we were going to break, so that's why I sparked. But however, I'll enjoy. Moving cannabis to Schedule 3 of the Controlled Substances Act, as Biden administration health officials have recommended, violates the U.S. promises to other countries. And that's what 3 Republican U.S. senators, led by former presidential nominee Mitt Romney of Utah, told the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration Chief Ann Milgram on Wednesday.
President Joe Biden's October 2022 directive to re-examine marijuana's status under federal law led to an August 2023 recommendation by the Department of Health and Human Services to downgrade it from the Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. By doing so, according to the letter from Senator Romney, Pete Richards of Nebraska and Jim Risch of Idaho would contradict earlier DEA determinations that requires it to classify marijuana as a Schedule 1 or 2 scheduled drug in order to comply with our treaty obligations, including a United Nations treaty signed in 1961.
Okay. That stand contradicts the U.S. Representative Sidney Kamlager Dove, a California Democrat, who in February told the DEA that the U.S. treaties should have no impact on rescheduling. And other signatories to the UN treaty, the senator cited, such as Canada, have legalized cannabis nationwide.
Exactly.
Now, yeah.
The DEA is currently weighing its response to the HHS recommendation. Milgram has said, but there's no clear timeline as to when the DEA will rule. In the meantime, observers noted that the Biden administration has strongly embraced cannabis reform, possibly as a tactic to recover his standing among young voters ahead of his 2024 re-election bid.
I just watched some live footage on this where it's just a tactic. It's just a tactic. That possibility wasn't lost on Republican senators who wrote that any effort to reschedule marijuana must be based on proven facts and scientific evidence, which is available for the record, not the favored policy of a particular administration and account for our treaty obligations.
And maybe it's just because one party is recognizing the evidence and the other party isn't.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have to have certain things that they take stands on. Now, I mean, and it kills me that the U.S. is still continuing to use such a racially slurring terminology, calling it marijuana. I mean, this is terrible. Start calling it cannabis, refer to it as cannabis, or let the term marijuana die with the DEA. Just like, you know what, it's still illegal. It's still written in the law that if somebody that horse thieves or cattle thieves can be shot by the owner, because it's just a stupid law now. So rather than spend all kinds of taxpayers' dollars on it, they just it doesn't even apply. Most of the wording doesn't even apply. They need to do the same with marijuana and start regulating cannabis.
I've spoken with the past hosts of the Pace Radio Show, and they completely disagree with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised too. But yeah, they. I'll talk to you about that after the show. But yeah.
Sure, it's okay to agree. And you know what? I'm one of those persons. I can agree to disagree. It's cool. We all have different filtration systems.
All right, medication time. Irene and I'll be right back after a joint session. You're watching Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBG TV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
Pace Radio, is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from, the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyendinaga.
We have 2 lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, we're back from our commercial break, and go ahead.
I have to share from Legacy 420. So last year I had seen their commercial play a few times, and I saw that bucket of ice with all the cans of infused, beverages, right?
Right.
We go to the beach all throughout the summer, all the time, and the girls and I, and we've got our cooler, and none of us really drink. Like, we might have a little sip of alcohol or maybe some Baileys and coffee, but that's not what you bring to the beach. And it's like, I'm starting to feel old because I'm not that 20-year-old that brings a cooler of booze, right? But I don't want booze. When I saw that commercial, it was like, oh, that's freaking brilliant. I hit Legacy. At some point in time, I went down to Tyendinaga, got myself a whole bunch of different beverages. When summer came, filled up the cooler. I was the most popular person for about an hour on that beach, and then everybody was nice and chill.
There you go.
But no, those beverages are great for a day on the dock of fishing, for just hanging out at the beach, or hanging out in the backyard for a barbecue.
Yeah.
It's so much better for you than alcohol. So much better.
Different levels of THC, up to 60 milligrams, I believe.
Right? It'll help get your liver functioning properly instead of destroying it.
Yeah. Well, because we know what alcohol does to your liver. All righty. On to our first story of the second half of the show. This comes to us from the International Cannabis Business Conference, and it says an analyst demonstrates why regulating cannabis is the right approach.
Yeah. So, there's so many conversations about this right now, but I'll try and stick to the story. In a regulated cannabis market, products undergo stringent testing to ensure that they are suitable for human consumption. Cannabis products are properly labeled in a regulated market, and they are subjected to inventory tracking requirements. Cannabis, like nearly every commercially available consumable product on earth, will be deemed to be unsuitable for human consumption from time to time. Regulations help ensure that such products do not make it to the retail shelves. And in the limited instances when it does happen, recall protocols are in place. Now, none of that is true for the unregulated market.
A recent analysis was performed in Canada that examined heavy metal contamination rates in cannabis vape pens. I was looking for this earlier. The analysis involved cartridges that originated from the regulated market, as well as samples that came from the unregulated market. They say the use of certain cannabis vape cartridges may result in metal heavy exposures, and they said the findings were presented at the spring meeting of the American Chemical Society.
Yeah, if I can just jump in a little bit there, Al. So some of these visits to the ER room from people who have been using vapes and been vaping, and then all of a sudden something happens. The heavy metal. So Cannabis is a photoremediator in that it will draw up it cleans the earth, right? It cleans the soil. It draws all of that into the plant. And if the plant isn't flushed properly, there's a really large chance that heavy metals, because we are what we consume, will get into our system, and or azadirachtin. Azadirachtin is a pesticide that's used by those who still use chemicals growing their weed. Stupid choice. But anyway, an azadirachtin poisoning presents very much like hypercannabinoid emesis or cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. It's not an allergy to cannabis. It's that you got improperly, what's the flush? Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah. So because there, your soil wasn't right, or you didn't flush properly after spraying for pests or what have you. So these are a lot, and this ends up in these vape chambers that are unregulated, which is where the concern came from. And that's also where a lot of those ER visits come from. So, okay. I just had to throw that in there. The Canadian scientists were analyzing 41 products for heavy metals, which included lead, cadmium, arsenic, and mercury. Several of the liquids in the vape cartridges tested positive for metal contamination. In some instances, it was nano-sized particles were present prior to the product's heating mechanism being turned on, suggesting that metal contaminants may be produced during the production process rather than during the product's use.
Products obtained from the unregulated producers were more likely than legally regulated products to contain elevated levels of heavy metals. The findings are consistent with U.S. data reporting that the use of some commercially available cannabis e-liquid devices may result in exposures to unwanted metals, including copper, nickel, and lead. Third-party testing of unregulated Delta 8 products and CBD vape cartridges also identified the presence of heavy metals, including arsenic, chromium, and mercury.
Right.
Yeah, I know that. I understand where you're coming from with the plant sucking up the stuff out of the ground, but are they finding that stuff in the whole leaf cannabis plant?
Yes and no, because it's all in the growing. A lot of it. It's different stages, different issues, right? And when you're doing it on a massive scale versus your community scale, where Joe and Sue and Sally, they all grow and I grow, and so don't have Tommy's weed. This, what, he didn't flush it properly. That's why it's burning black. You know what I mean? When it's in a small community, it's different numbers that you're dealing with. But on a grand scale, having these regulated to ensure that doesn't happen, I think is important. I mean, I would hate for my great aunt, who doesn't know much about cannabis at all, really, to go in and buy a CBD cartridge that didn't go through that regulation. And now she's getting heavy metal toxins from a legal product.
And it's happening in both systems. Like, I got a vape pen here. And that's why I went looking for, because there was another article on that, but I wasn't able to find it. So.
Right, and it's a learning opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And because with the green rush, everybody hopped on board. And let's face it, even during the gold rush, there were some panners that showed up and they didn't even have a pan. They just thought they were going to get there and there would be this big mountain of gold that they could collect. Right, so it really is educating yourself. And as a producer, yeah. So as a producer, everybody jumped on the green rush and said, oh, I want to do this. And they got this much information. And we're learning that, it needs more. You have to do this and this and this and this. It's just part of the growing process.
Yeah. All right. Talking about growing process. It happens in more than just growing in plants. It also happens in laws and everything else. Next story comes to us from the Strachan. New Brunswick says it can't enforce its cannabis laws on First Nation reserves.
Good. You know what? It's still First Nations, Six Nations. They are still sovereign country, and they need to stand up for their rights. And whatever changes they're going to make, it has to be in the way they decide it. So New Brunswick, thankfully, is saying it is unable to enforce its provincial cannabis laws on First Nations land, while other provinces take a different stance. Oh, I did not know that. The new comments come following proposed changes to the province's Cannabis Act and stand in contrast to statements and actions taken by other provincial governments.
Yeah, BC covers, they say, BC says their law covers everybody. So you'll find. The province's public safety minister, Chris Austin, reportedly told media recently that there is nothing the province can do to enforce the provincial cannabis rules on businesses operating on First Nation reserves. She instead argues the issue is up to the federal government to enforce.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, you can't seize property, right? So the comments from Austin came from the introduction of new legislation in New Brunswick meant to give officers from the Department of Justice and Public Safety more power to deter illicit stores in the province. Now, the provincial government recently introduced Bill 29, which will, if passed, create amendments to its Cannabis Control Act, with the goal of increasing compliance with provincial rules, reducing the sale of illegal cannabis, and preventing young people from consuming it.
Yeah. As reported by the Telegraph Journal, Austin said, you can't seize property on First Nation reserves unless you're talking about property that would be involved in violent crime. Our understanding is when it comes to cannabis, that we're not able to do that.
It's pretty simple, yeah. The Telegraph Journal went on to report that Austin made similar statements about jurisdiction in 2023, passing the buck back to the federal government. First Nation cannabis stores in New Brunswick are an issue, no question. Very frustrating. Later adding that we can only work within provincial legislation and it's up to our federal counterparts to do their part.
Indigenous and Northern Affairs Canada redirected media inquiries back to the provincial RCMP, which issued a statement saying the issue is complex. You think?
Just a little bit.
This fiscal year, peace officers in New Brunswick say they have investigated and shut down 23 illegal cannabis dispensaries across the province. Some of those have involved individuals with First Nation communities, like a raid last August of the Lenuc Lounge in Moncton. That business is operating again as of press time, and its social media shows it's been operating for some time.
Yep. At the time, New Brunswick authorities said a 33-year-old Eel River Bar First Nation man could face charges, and the investigation is ongoing. A video shared on Facebook in May of 2023 shows several store employees and First Nation representatives delivering a letter to the RCMP stating that the store is operating under territorial rights, which they argue does not need a license from the province, and they are correct. The store is located just a few doors down from an RCMP station.
Former National Assembly of First Nations Chief Del Riley also appears in the video, and he's been working with many First Nation communities in Canada to make similar arguments for sovereignty for cannabis retailers on First Nation lands. Law enforcement in New Brunswick has raided several unlicensed cannabis stores in recent months, with two arrested in 2 raids in March and 2 more arrested, and products seized from an unlicensed dispensary in St. John in January.
Yeah. It's just crazy. A court recently issued $20,000 fine following a raid in 2022, while charges against 2 men connected to the company have been withdrawn. There are 25 Cannabis New Brunswick stores in the province, plus a handful of licensed privately run cannabis stores. Now, this didn't stop the RCMP from reportedly raiding a dispensary called the Medicine Cabinet on Eel River Bar Reserve in New Brunswick on March 26th of 2021. According to the Dispensing Freedom, the RCMP left with more than $60,000 worth of cannabis products, 4 rifles and shotguns used by the family to hunt, Interact machines, cash, and a cash box. Police held the brothers, their family, and a worker at the shop for over 10 hours before being released. Charges on the father and son were later dropped. Okay, there's not a lot that gets my blood boiling. This is one of those things. Just saying.
This raid, however, was reportedly authorized by Sasha LeBeau Kennedy, a chief of the Eel River Bar First Nation. So they raided that place with permission from the chief.
Which is interesting. I mean, not everybody likes their leader, right?
That's right. Oh, it's not, yeah, believe me, it's not the first time. Several First Nation communities and business owners across Canada have argued that federal and provincial cannabis laws do not apply to any First Nation reserved lands or unceded territories. Dozens of stores in Ontario and BC have opened in the last few years. The issue of jurisdiction around cannabis laws is contentious in Canada as it relates to First Nations and Indigenous authorities. Canada's Cannabis Act and regulations provide the authority to regulate the sale of cannabis to provinces and territories. Many provinces, including BC and the federal government, have said that their own respective cannabis regulations are laws of general application, meaning they apply to all areas in those jurisdictions, including Indigenous land.
And again, herein lies the fight. At what point Indigenous land is sovereign land? Period. Police in Nova Scotia recently raided a cannabis store operating under what the owner said were sovereign Indigenous rights in January. Ontario Provincial Police recently raided 3 sovereign stores operated by members of First Nations community and British Columbia's Community Safety Unit. Conducted several raids of cannabis stores operating in the Comox First Nation in February. In both those series of raids, most businesses quickly reopened.
BC has long taken the position that its own Provincial Cannabis Act is a law of general application that applies to all of British Columbia, including First Nations land. However, the province's Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General Mike Harmsworth has said in the past that the province is leery of acting on that authority and triggering court challenge that could significantly impact provincial and Indigenous laws.
Yeah. With cannabis, like a number of other issues when it comes to First Nations, our view, the province's view, is that yes, they are laws of general application. Administered during the question period in 2020. Just as with other issues, First Nations have said, no, these are areas of our jurisdiction, and that's both at the provincial level and at the federal level. In other words, back the fuck up, Mary.
As the member will no doubt be aware, on numerous occasions, these are often tested in court and sometimes with a decision that yes, they do come under First Nations jurisdiction, and that has far-reaching effects. When you have an issue where there is a dispute over its jurisdiction, as a number of First Nations have indicated, it is their view that cannabis comes under their jurisdiction. This is a complex and complicated situation. It is something that has not just arisen. It has been around for a while, and we are working with First Nations to be able to deal with that. It's why one of the ways in which we are encouraging local production of legal retail, as though the use of Section 119 agreements under the Act, which were designed to do just that. And that comes from Farnsworth. Go ahead. Yeah. What was that, Irene?
Oh, I was just saying, no,
I heard
they're not trying to find ways of working with them. They're trying to find ways to sneakily merge their way in and become that Trojan horse. I mean, the first thing that always comes to my mind when I see the federal government saying, oh, we want to work with you to help make this better for you. You're full of shit. Okay. I see a Trojan horse like there's no tomorrow right away. They're manipulative. And the wording is manipulative. And I am so grateful that there are so many wonderful First Nation leaders that are recognizing this and stand up and say, no, that is, you know.
I'm going to say the first one would be our sponsor, Legacy 420. That was Tim Barnhart. He spoke up back in 2015.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And
exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
and they were gonna raid him, and he said blah 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 blah, and they never came back.
Yeah, back the fuck up, Mary.
No, yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah,
all right. Who wants to win some free weed?
I do. It's about the only time you'll ever hear me say I do.
Okay, from Cannabis Net, it says, win free weed for a year.
Okay,
Find the Willy Wonka golden cannabis ticket to create a great cannabis-themed video.
Okay, and this is from West Coast Cure. It was only a matter of time before something like this was going to happen. West Coast Cure has come up with a really cool contest inspired by the famous Willy Wonka event, but with a twist. Instead of chocolate, they're offering weed. Up to 5 lucky winners could get a year's supply of top quality cannabis for just $4.20. I'm assuming Canadian. Now that is a year's supply for $4.20. I'm in. That's a steal for any weed lover out there. Jonathan Jones, who's in charge of marketing at WCC, is super excited about this. He says they're thrilled to be connecting with California's weed community in such a fun way. Jones thinks this contest isn't just about winning. It's a chance for people to show off their love for weed in all sorts of creative ways. So whether you're a big-time fan or just enjoy weed casually, this contest is for you.
Jones also wants everyone to know that WCC is all about celebrating the weed culture. They're not just in it for the money, but genuinely care about the people who love their products. So if you're in California and love cannabis, this contest just might be your golden ticket to a year of blissful highs. Now, West Coast is launching 2 exciting contests exclusively for California residents. Those contests will run March the 29th to April the 20th, so it's running right now, for the UGC campaign, and on June 1st for the Diamond Tickets campaign. The aim is to blend creativity and skill in celebrating California's vibrant cannabis culture.
All right. So this just told me that this is American. This is in California, not Canadian. So that $4.20 is in American dollars. Let me correct myself on that. But also, they must have. I was wondering how they do this legally because of our marketing and advertising regulations here in Canada. They must have different regulations stateside.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Okay. So these contests are designed to showcase and promote WCC's Jeffrey Minis infused joints containing premium flower, THCA diamonds, and top shelf keef. Participants have 2 ways to enter and become eligible to win. First, they can hunt for one of the 4 secret diamond tickets hidden within the Jeffrey 5-pack minis, which for the record, I've had them. They're fabulous, are available at select retailers. Alternatively, they can unleash their creativity by participating in the WCC Diamonds UGC. Keep that as your hashtag, user-generated content contest.
This dual approach not only engages participants in a fun and interactive manner, but also highlights the uniqueness of WCC's products. By combining elements of exploitation and creativity, WCC aims to connect with California's diverse cannabis community and celebrate the state's essence of cannabis culture. So whether you're on the hunt for hidden tickets or eager to showcase your creativity, these contests offer something for everyone to enjoy.
Absolutely. If you are one of the lucky winners to uncover a diamond ticket, you'll have the chance to participate in a trivia contest to confirm your win. Hopefully it's not too difficult because I'm guessing it's going to be a lot of stoners. For those entering the UGC contest, get ready to showcase your creative flair by crafting the most captivating photo or video featuring a gutted Jeffrey. The winner, handpicked by WCC co-founder Jay Kears, will be selected based on the originality of their submission. These contests shine a spotlight on the Jeffrey Minis, underscoring West Coast Cure's unwavering commitment to top-notch quality. These infused joints, boasting premium flower, THCA diamonds, and top-shelf keef, exemplify WCC's dedication to pushing boundaries regarding excellence and innovation within the cannabis industry. And, as someone who really genuinely enjoys their products, I can attest to that. I was just actually looking for my case of Jeffrey's because I've got an empty case. Of my Jeffrey's. I like my Jeffrey's. They're my personal stuff. We enjoyed some Jeffrey's at Can Expo.
Oh,
Yeah, I shared a couple of Jeffries with you.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
The little mini ones.
Yeah, I'm going to close out the story with the last two paragraphs and saying that, in essence, West Coast Cures inventive contest promising a year's supply of premium cannabis stands as a testament to their commitment to the cannabis community. This offering attracts fans' attention and emphasizes the WCC's desire to supplement premium products. This program not only demonstrates their generosity, but also shows the strength of belonging, which deepens the bond between them and the customers and reminds them of a brand that carries a well-being. So there you go. Brings yourself some free cannabis.
Well, and you know what? And WCC has good products. I mean, I know a number of people that order because they do deliveries. And I know, I'm very familiar with their products. So if you win one of these golden tickets, I'm not suggesting you turn into any of the characters from Willy Wonka, but find yourself some time. If you win, let us know. Let me and Al know. Like, get over here to the Pace Radio, and tell us, hey, you know what?
I won.
I got my Willy Wonka ticket. Yeah. So I got my WCC ticket. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I think it's wonderful. I'm kind of wishing I were American at the moment, but you know what? Maybe I'll help my sisters or my daughter, or actually I have to help my sisters, or you know what? My friend, my stepmother, my friend, my family member. They're all stateside, and I've got all kinds of families stateside. I'll help them win.
Yeah, good. Now, I see we got a bunch more stories, but we're out of time. But I just wanted to bring up the story here, and some people wonder why we still need things such as the Global Marijuana March that's being held in Toronto May 4th. So just to show people why trafficking cannabis in Malaysia can get you 30 years in jail and a bruised backside. The bruised backside is a whipping.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why, even though we've got cannabis legalized here in Canada and a lot of the states have it as well, it doesn't mean that it's legal globally. And even though we can report weekly on new places, there are still people who are still being severely punished.
Yeah. And I mean, that's from a global scale. That's the Global Marijuana March. And that is the point. There are still a lot of changes to make in the laws, to reform the laws. Now that we have it legal, it's time to change it where we have it legal, like to get it so that it's a working environment. And globally, until this planet is green, north to south, east to west, around and around, there's statements to make. There's help to give.
Sure is. Yeah.
There's education to serve.
Yeah. All righty. When I hit the closing, I'll run a little promo on the Toronto Global Marijuana March. But other than that, that's our news report for today. And from the Legacy420.com news desk and for our budget, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, Legacy420.com, and Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, we'd like to say thanks for watching and tuning in. And don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate. Make sure I get the right video. Okay, here we go.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hello and welcome to the Mushy Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Reverend Cindy. We're live today on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024 on paceradio.net, streaming everywhere, YouTube, Facebook, the Mushy Moment. How you doing, Cindy?
I'm good. How are you doing, Steve?
Pretty darn good. Can
Excellent.
you tell I found that paper that I lost last week? Oh, hey, we got some pretty exciting stuff happening today.
Yeah, no, today is amazing. Amazing. I'm really excited. We have a return guest. Well, as soon as we started the show, I got buzzed moving my phone. Yeah, we have a return guest. This will be her third time coming on with us, but it's a little different this time.
Yeah. Yeah, this time we're kind of having a party.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, we're having a cacao party.
It is.
It is.
You
And
know,
we have people joining us.
Party.
Yeah, we have people joining us from all across Canada, literally from Nova Scotia. And we're not talking you and I, people that are joining us all the way from Nova Scotia to BC for this ceremony. I'm really excited.
That's pretty awesome. When we first talked about the podcast, we talked about spreading the energy all the way from BC all the way to Nova Scotia. And right now, just the amount of people that have signed up and where they've signed up for proves we're doing it.
Our guest was just typing to us in private chat. You have to go up to the higher one. Get higher. I think it's higher. Yes. Yes. So just making sure everybody gets in the right spot there. We are bringing Judy Machado back on, who is the owner of Goddess Temple Cacao and where I took my cacao training. And we invited Judy on to do a online ceremony with Steve and I. And Judy is not just here to help run it, but she has sponsored it as well. She is the lady that gave us the cacao tea for me to quite literally ship straight across this country, which is just really exciting.
It is. Where does this cacao come from? Because not only is it coming all the way across our country, but it comes from.
Well, why don't we bring Judy on so she can tell us?
I think that's a great idea.
Good
day.
Hello. Oh, what a beautiful pleasure it is to be here with you two beautiful souls once again.
Yes, it's great to be here with you. Yeah. So the origins of your cacao, Judy, that is the question.
Yes. So the tea and the powder come from Peru, and the paste comes from Ecuador.
Wow.
Yes. Beautiful sources. And they are ceremonial grade cacao. Today, we're going to be in ceremony with the tea. The tea was a little bit easier for us to transport, little tea bags for everybody. The tea is maybe not so well known in ceremonial use, although it is just as powerful, just as beautiful. The tea comes from the little seeds. Let me show you here before we get started. This is a cacao pod. So this is how the cacao grows on the tree. And believe it or not, the cacao itself is a fruit. In here is a fruit. So did you know chocolate is actually a fruit? So it's the seed within the fruit. And in here are the tiny little seeds that are in this pod. So inside here is a fruit. Inside those little sections of fruit are these little seeds. And so in here is the cacao that we grind, and it either, becomes a paste, or we can turn it into a powder, or the shell itself, we can crush this, and the outer shell we can infuse to make cacao tea. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Some of you have been shipped this tea, and from what I understand, we might be doing this again and again. And so if you're watching this somewhere and you just saw the recording and you weren't able to join us live, it looks like we're going to be doing this again soon.
It's exciting.
Going. I love it.
Yeah.
Peru,
So
Ecuador, and all across Canada.
And
yes.
Canada.
Yes, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
I just want to thank both of you, and Cindy especially, for this idea of all of us, the three of us, coming together in such a sacred space, in a ceremonial space with everyone that's on here live or watching the recording. This really is an honor. It's a responsibility and an honor to be here together in facilitating this incredible connection to the spirit of cacao, that we will be bringing everyone into this connection. And it's just so much fun. And I'm just so grateful that we are here together and opening this up to your beautiful community too.
Thank you for joining us. It's definitely an honor to have you on here doing this. And this whole podcast has come out of just ideas that got thrown out there, and the good ones caught hold. I am very honored and thankful that I am just part of it. Even though Steve says to me, he just kind of threw it out there and I made it happen. No, I wouldn't have been able to make it happen without my podcast partner. And it really was his idea to do the podcast. And we have met and been able to chat with so many people, and to take it one step further and to offer a medicine ceremony through the show, I think is just a complete and utter honor. I am so blessed that we can do this through the show. So thanks to Pace Radio and Al Graham, the owner of Pace Radio, for giving us blessings and green lights to do all of this. Because without him saying yes, we wouldn't have this platform either.
That's so beautiful. And I just want to share too, if I can, that, this really is a great responsibility to facilitate a plant medicine ceremony, a master plant medicine ceremony. And when we are truly in devotion to the sacred lineage, our beautiful indigenous families who've been the stewards, the caretakers, the beloveds of these plant medicines for thousands of years, have had and continue to have a sacred process and journey that we take with these beloved plant spirits before we share them in ceremony. And that is so important to acknowledge. Especially today, we live in a world that's so fast paced that people get excited. They go to a cacao ceremony. They want to share a ceremony right away with their friends. And that's beautiful to share the medicine. And just it's so important that we honor the lineage, and that we honor the lineage comes from a place where our beautiful Indigenous families know and understand that these are not just drinks. These are sacred spirit guides that want to connect with us first in communion, in deep relationship. And we do that through what's called the Cacao Facilitators Dieta. We go on these journeys first several times to receive guidance from the spirit guide itself, and to receive that initiation when we're finally ready to host in ceremony. And so that has been a gift. And I want to acknowledge both of you, because both of you have taken Cacao Facilitator training programs. And Cindy, that's in fact how I met you, was through the Goddess Temple Deep Dive Dieta, the Facilitators Dieta, and the training program. And it is such an honor to be here doing this with you, hosting with you, because that's what we talk about in that whole training is how can we now come together, right? So here we are, 3 facilitators coming together and sharing together this medicine. The more of us that come together, the more we can expand and elevate beautiful frequency with all of these gorgeous souls that are on here live right now, or even just on the recording. And so, yes, I just want to acknowledge how wonderful it is that, we've each received initiation, communication, deepening a relationship with this spirit guide, and continue deepening with this beautiful spirit guide as we continue our journey in facilitating and being that bridge for others to experience the medicine, that open vessel, so that the medicine can come through us to just provide space for others to go and now experience the medicine as well. It really is a beautiful journey, and I'm so excited for us to do this right now.
Yes, me too.
So, anything, Steve, you want to say before we get started?
I'm just honored to be here. I think this is great. If you went back a year ago, this wasn't in the vision. Barely over a year ago was the vision of a podcast. So, watching what it's growing into and what it's able to, the healing that is able to be achieved and the honor to be able to share in it is, I just sit here and go, wow. I'm honored. Thank you.
Right. So honored. Awe-inspiring, really. Like, really awe-inspiring. Same with me 5 years ago. Who would have thought that, this deep relationship would be in effect, and this true love for life from a lot of the teachings, the wisdom that comes from this deep connection that anyone can have with the medicine. It's not just something that, it's only chosen certain people. If you're here, you've been called by this beautiful spirit guide, by the cacao medicine.
Yeah.
So if you're a person that has a cocoa at night and goes, oh, I really, really enjoy my cocoa, or you get up in the morning and you go, man, I just love cocoa, you're probably actually being called to cacao.
Ooh,
just say it.
So good. Oh, that's so good.
That's brilliant.
Oh, and in a couple minutes, we will get started, and maybe we can just give a quick heads up to anyone who's live, or even if you're watching the recording and you want to pause. If you have your cup of cacao with you, it's possible you have the tea bag that Cindy has sent to you. It's possible you have your own cacao that you made, and it's possible you don't have cacao, and maybe you have water or your own herbal tea. It's all beautiful. Whatever you have, it's beautiful to have some sort of a liquid drink with you, and we will intend that everybody's going to be connected to this medicine today. Also, if you have a candle, a little candle that you can prepare or have it with you, maybe grab it really quickly right now, a little candle, because we will be lighting the candle together. And then also maybe a lighter, if you have a lighter or a match. And then also some little oils, little sacred oils or rose water or whatever you have. You want to go quickly grab that while we're just wrapping up and getting ready to start. Those are the 3 things. We're going to be doing lots of other things. If you have a little instrument too, that's fun as well. but this will get you excited to experience what an embodied cacao ceremony is, so that you're going to want to come back more and more as we continue these beautiful ceremonies here. Thank you.
Yes. Or if you feel the call, I know a wonderful teacher who can help you head into facilitation and do a dieta with that, with cacao, a facilitator's dieta, and then take the course. It's a wonderful course. Believe me, I've gone back and sat in on some extra classes too, because you have that ability with Judy. You can go back for future classes. Or if you are in an area that is close to one of the three of us and you would like to sit in person for a ceremony, you can reach out to any of us and we would be honored.
Truly honored. It really is a gift. Now is a time to be in circle. Whether it's online here, we're literally creating a virtual circle, or in person. Now is a time to remember, come back together so that we can remember what's in our heart, remember who we really are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. So shall we get started?
I think so. Are you ready, Steve?
I think that's the beginning of a song. Yes, I am.
Are you ready, Steve? Okay, so to begin, let's all focus on our breath. Maybe your hand on your heart, so we can connect to your beautiful heart center, which is the space in which the cacao is most supporting us in this moment to open up our hearts. And so let's take some nice deep breaths.
Okawami maskiki, okawima maskiki, okawima maskiki. Okawima maskiki, okawima maskiki, okawima maskiki. Okawima maskiki, okawima maskiki, okawima maskiki. Thank you. Thank you. That was a personal Icaros that was sent to me by Mama Cacao and my grandfather. My grandfather, my mom's father, was Indigenous. I did not have the chance to meet him when he was alive, but since walking with spirit medicine, I have spent great amount of time with my grandfather. And he is the one that told me that my Icaros should be sang in my family's language. So Okawima Maskiki is Mama Cacao in Cree. Yeah. So just a little bit of history and reason why I use those particular words. We're going to light our candles now. If everybody would like to get their candle and light it. Thank you. I have a little tea light here. And I invite you to watch your flame dance. Or if you don't have a candle, I will hold mine up and you can share in the flame with me. I have a couple of poems I would like to read, and then I'm going to get everybody to say some stuff with me. Again, a poem that I found, it comes from the Cree heritage on fire. Here and now, I invoke the element force of fire, the flames of creativity and passion, dancing source of heat, light, and love. I seek the glowing forage within, that I might warm myself with desire, excitement, courage, and inspiration. I call you forth to burn away all that impedes my highest vision and to enact change in the world. Lightning and hearth, heart and forage, fire, I call thee hence. The next little poem that I have was actually gifted to me by my cacao mentor, Judy Machado. And I just want to share that. It's beautiful. We light this candle to remember that we are the light of the world. May the flame illuminate the path to remembering within us, the remembering of our radiant, sacred oneness consciousness. And then I have some beautiful phrases that Judy has also gifted. And I'm going to speak them, and at home, speak them out loud to yourself, or speak them in your heart, or speak them in your mind, whatever you feel comfortable with. I am compassion.
I am compassion.
I am forgiving.
I am forgiving.
I am mercy.
I am mercy.
I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
I am love.
I am love.
Yeah, I am the light of this world.
I am the light of this world.
I can hear everybody saying this right across the country. It's beautiful. Oh, I feel it. I feel it in my heart.
Oh.
And if you just want to put your candles aside at a nice safe spot, if you have animals that you're worried about, put it up high so you can not worry about their little tails and whatnot. I'm going to invite you to anoint yourself with whatever oils you have. I pick rose water. The rose is often seen as a symbol of the union between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And in case you're wondering where I got this, is from my teachings from Goddess Temple Cacao and Judy. Its soft petals represent the nurturing and compassionate aspects of the feminine, while its sturdy stem and thorns symbolize the strength and protection associated with the masculine. There are long traditions of rose water being used in medicine, used in ceremony, dating all the way back to the 7th century. In North American indigenous have also used this to treat ailments. Some fun, fast facts on rose water. It can usually be used without any side effects. It just smells really pretty. It contains numerous and powerful antioxidants, and it has found to be help to relax the central nervous system. So it's a beautiful scent to wear. It's nice and light, and as long as you're using something that's real, it shouldn't offend anybody. And I just wanted to give a shout out that I found this rose water after searching for 2 days around Windsor, which is where I live, and I finally found this last minute before a ceremony that I really needed it for. And it turns out that this was made in Newfoundland and Labrador. And I think I was really brought to this because that's where my mom was from.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
And now Steve.
I'm going to read the invocation for the cacao ceremony.
Mhm.
And, when I'm done that, I will go through the direction.
Mm.
From the core essence of all that I am, I give thanks for this life, the fire in my soul, the love and light in my heart, the energy of all that is, and the guidance of Mama Cacao. With the core essence of all that we are, we give thanks to the sacred seed of life and welcome Mama Cacao and the opening of the sacred space and this sacred ceremony to share and receive the wisdom, love, and messages of Mama Cacao. With the core essence of all that I am, I activate my loving energy and inner vision to teach and show me the heart-led way. May you guide me and direct my journey as I travel on this sacred path with Mama Cacao. From the core essence of all that I am, I give thanks for the essence of all that you are. From seed to tree, deeply rooted and standing tall, allowing me to see my purpose rooted in healing and unconditional love. I give thanks to Mama Cacao. I honor the 7 directions for all that they give, for all that they hold, for all that they mean. I honor the East. I call to the energy of the East, the morning sun, the new day, new beginnings and new life. Here lies the energy of spring, new growth and new life. I ask the light to illuminate all so we may bask in its warmth. I call to the eagle, the hawk, and all the winged ones that fly close to the heavens. I welcome your insight and sharp vision. I invite the energy of the dandelion and the rose, and welcome all of my ancestors and loved ones who dwell in this direction, and ask that they join us and bless this ceremony and each ceremonial space with the energy and spirit of the East. Eho. I honor the South. I call to the energy of the South, inviting the noonday sun. I call to the direction of love and compassion, creativity and energy, and welcome the spirit of action and growth. I invite coyote, mountain lion, deer, and all 4-legged creatures. I invite the spirit of hibiscus, holy basil, sage, and bee balm. I welcome all of my ancestors and loved ones who dwell in this direction, and ask that you join us and bless these spaces and this ceremony with the energy and spirits of the South. Eho. I honor the West. I call to the energy of the West, to the healing waters, and to the place the veil is thinnest, to the evening and twilight energy. I call to the medicine direction and the birthplace of emotion, to the gifts of healing. I invite owl, otter, salmon, and all the creatures of the sea, lakes, rivers, and streams. I welcome flexibility and flow and grace. I invite the energy of the black cohosh, angelica, and the lotus. I welcome my ancestors and loved ones who dwell in this direction, and ask that you join me and bless this space and ceremony with the energy and spirits of the West. Eho. I call to the energies of the North, the earth that sustains us, home of the night, wisdom, and of the dark hour, to the spirit of winter and the energy of rest and renewal. I welcome the wisdom and invite the bear, elk, buffalo, and mouse and welcome the gifts of generosity, the spirit of giving, and the gift of story. I invite the energy of the cedar, the pine, the mushroom, and the Mariposa lily. I welcome all of my ancestors and loved ones who dwell in this direction, and ask that you join us and bless this ceremony and these spaces with the energy of the North. The above. I call to and welcome the energy and spirits for all that are above. I honor the Father Sky, star people, planetary beings, and the entire cosmos. I welcome the divine masculinity and masculine energy of the grandfathers, fathers, brothers, uncles, and sons. I welcome the energies of Father Sky and Grandmother Moon. I call to the angels, the elementals, the divas, plant spirits, ether, and Spider Woman that weaves us all into connection. I welcome all of my ancestors and loved ones who dwell in this direction, and ask that you join me and bless this space and this ceremony with the energies and spirits of the above. Eho. As above, so below, and we honor the below. I call to and welcome the energies of Mother Earth, the plants, the stones, the crystals, the mycelium that holds us together, and the spirits of all that is below. I welcome the divine feminine, the spirit and feminine energy of our grandmothers, mothers, sisters, aunts, and daughters. I welcome the energies and spirits of Mother Earth, our guides and ancestors. I honor and respect the reflection of all that is and give thanks for our shadow. I welcome all of our ancestors and loved ones who dwell in this direction, and ask that you join us and bless this ceremony in these spaces with the energies and spirits of below. Eho. And from the center, our heart from within. I call to and welcome the energy of all our relations and to the place within. I give thanks for each living being on this planet and for the ancient heartbeat that connects us. I invite in the universal soul energy and the spirit of one heart. I welcome the gifts of love, unity, and compassion for all. I welcome all of our ancestors that dwell in this direction and ask that you join us and bless this space and this ceremony with the energies and spirits of within. Eho.
Mm. Mm.
He's stuck.
That was amazing, Steve.
Wow.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful invocation, prayer, blessing.
Thank you.
Really, so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
And Cindy, oh my goodness. The drum, the chant,
Thank you.
everything is just so beautiful. I can feel the devotion that both of you have for this incredible medicine and for all of these spirits we're calling in, being in sacred relationship with it all. And I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful to everyone that's here. Even though I can't see everyone, I can certainly feel the community that's listening right now, and it's so beautiful. And if you have your cacao, now would be a beautiful time to hold the cup of cacao in your hands. And what we can do is hold it with two hands, just like it's a sacred chalice, holding it with two hands, as though somebody were to ask you to move this cup that's made of, crystal from one table to the next. You would probably hold it like this and bring it over. It's exactly what this is. It's not only a vessel, a chalice that is holding this sacred medicine, but it is also a reflection of you. This vessel is you. Your body is the vessel. And we are now going to ask cacao to come into our vessel. We're going to ask that our vessel be empty. But all of those programs and stories and limiting beliefs that we've been hanging on to, which once served us, we're going to ask that those be deleted. Whatever is no longer needed as we move forward to be deleted, those programs, and that we can have new, higher frequency insights, callings, rememberings, wisdom into our vessel now. And so we hold this chalice like we would hold ourselves, like we would love ourselves, like the beautiful soul that we are, the soul that is absolutely perfect, the way she or he is right now. That everything that has happened to us to date is to allow for us to be this magnificent soul that we are to date. And to remember that we are always growing, and if we're not growing, we're actually dying. And so we are asking Mama Cacao to help us to grow, and to grow in a way where we can be guided with this higher frequency consciousness, which is what our spirit of cacao is. These plant medicines, these master plant medicines, are cosmic spirits that have manifested themselves onto our earth, onto our plants here on earth. And we call those master plant medicines. You may have heard of some of these, ayahuasca, many other beautiful master plant medicines. Some are psychedelic, some are not. Cacao is a very gentle master plant medicine. A master plant medicine is a teacher spirit. It is a cosmic spirit that has manifested in this plant so we can drink. And when we drink with reverence and sacred intention and honoring, these medicines, these spirits bring to us rememberings, teachings of who we really are so we can let go of who we're not. Because we've been living this program of who we think we are, but really it's just a bunch of beliefs of other people. We've taken on things so that we could be loved or accepted by everybody from the moment we were born. And now we are removing all of those beautiful layers, those layers that once served us, but now we're remembering who our authentic self is. And these sacred teacher plants are here to help us to remove these layers one by one, these beliefs that we're hanging on so tight to, this belief that I am this title, or this belief that I am this culture and that's it, or this belief that, my religion is stronger than yours, or this belief that whatever, all these beliefs, just removing them all to remember that we are love, that we are reflections of one another, that there's one divine consciousness and we are a reflection of it. And that we are simply all reflections of one another. And that we are all remembering this. And these medicines want to help us to bring us into that remembering, into that space. And when we are in sacred devotional relationship with these medicines, by drinking, by speaking to the medicine, which we're going to do very soon together, when we speak to these beautiful medicines in relationship, in devotion, they answer. Ask and you shall receive. We have free will. We came here to Earth School agreeing to temporarily forget who we really are so that we experience the joy of remembering. And we have an agreement with our beautiful spirit guides. Because we have free will, they can't intervene with us unless we ask for guidance. Ask and you shall receive. This has been a message that has been coded for us since the beginning of time. And it is so profound and so beautiful. And so when we can realize that our spirit guides, that is their job. Their job is waiting for us to call on them. They're so excited and waiting for us. And right now, I wonder if you can sense that. Sense. We're calling on the spirit of cacao. This magnificent spirit to hear our words. We've just called on our sacred 7 directions. Steve just called into this beautiful space. Not only the directions, the directions that each have medicines for us, but the spirit animals of those directions, our ancestors, our indigenous families, who have been the stewards, the caretakers, the beloveds of these plant medicines for thousands of years, thankfully, still here with us today, sharing this incredible knowledge, still in deep reverence to the earth as they have always been. So much of what we have forgotten, they're helping us to remember as well. And so we call on beautiful Spirit of Cacao as a follow-up to what Steve has already done, this beautiful invocation to Mama Cacao. And just before we drink, I wonder if you will join all of us in something that is so beautiful. It's a moment of silence. In a minute, we're going to each speak to Mama Cacao silently in your mind. We're going to close our eyes before we drink, and we're each going to ask Mama Cacao for something. Maybe there's something you would like clarity on. Maybe there's something in your heart you would like for her to help you to open your heart. Maybe there's someone specific you would like to forgive, or some situation. Maybe there's some kind of guidance or clarity on a situation that you would like from her to support you, to bring some light. Whatever it is, we're going to do that, and you're going to maybe even address her by name. So in a minute when we're silent, you can say, Spirit of Cacao, I ask you, or Mama Cacao, please help me. Let's do that right now in silence. Beautiful. Just acknowledge how easy that was to speak to these cosmic medicines. This is what they're waiting for. Sometimes we're so nervous, we don't know what to say to them. They are a reflection of our physical relationships here on earth. Imagine being in a beloved relationship with a partner who you never speak to, who you never acknowledge, you never talk to them. Or maybe you do, but all you do is ask them for help. You never tell them you love them, how grateful you are. These spirit guides are just reflections of our relationships here. When we can be in sacred devotional relationship, in communion, communication, loving communication with them, they will reveal to us so much of what we have forgotten. So much of whom we truly are that we have just temporarily forgotten. And so in a minute, we're going to drink together. Sometimes we like to play music when we drink. Maybe today we're going to have no music, because one of the most beautiful things to do and to realize is that when we are in silence, this is where we can hear the most. This is where we can truly hear, is when we are in silence. There are more words to be heard in silence than with words. There's more to be heard in silence than with words, especially as we realize that we are not this bodysuit. We are cosmic spirits, temporarily experiencing ourselves in these bodysuits, these beautiful bodysuits, these temples. And so we're going to be in silence together. We're going to enjoy the silence. And we're going to, while we drink, for about 3 minutes, while we're drinking slowly the cacao, being in silence, just notice if any messages come to you, what's happening in your heart. And so once again, we welcome you, Mama Cacao, into this circle, into this space, into our hearts. Illuminate for us those stories, those beliefs that we're hanging on to that once served us, but no longer serve us in this new, magnificent expansion that we're walking into. So help us to illuminate those, that we may be able to release those, make room for new, expanded beliefs and stories about ourselves, who we truly are. Let us drink now. Satnam, namaste. Hmm. 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 Hmm.
No, we'll wait till after. Mm. Mm. Mm.
Mama, Pachamama, 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 Atuana Tureza, Emedicina, Pachamama, Pachamama. Agradecemos a Pachamama, Mama Cacao. Agradecemos, 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 Estamos prontos para a revolução, revolução, a revolução de amor, a revolução de amor. Agradecemos, agradecemos a Pachamama, Mama Cacao. Agradecemos, agradecemos a tua natureza é medicina. Agradecemos, 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 With your eyes closed and your hand on your heart, and your attention on your beautiful heart space. Just notice how there is not a worry in the world right now. That your heart is open, that you feel love, that you feel loved, and that you feel the love that you are. And in this beautiful space, imagine your heart, a flower, a big, beautiful peony flower that's just opening and blossoming, opening up so wide, literally reaching out for the sun. This beautiful heart of yours reaching for the light. Feel how much your heart is opening. And feel how there is nothing to be afraid of. The more we open our heart, the more love we can experience. You have such an infinite amount of love within your heart. Who is it in this moment you would like to send some love to? Is it someone close to you? Is it somebody you forgive? What about somebody who you don't actually enjoy spending time with, somebody who you dislike? What if we could send some love to that person without needing to speak to them? Just send them love right now. We are all on a journey of letting go of our stories, taking off our masks that we've had on, realizing that they're not even ours. We've just put them on so that we can be loved by others around us. So all of us are on this journey, even those who we dislike. They're also in the process of realizing who they are and that they too can take off the mask. When we realize the power of the love, the frequency that we are in this open-hearted space, this frequency can move mountains on the other side of the world. We can come back to this place at any time. Mama cacao. Mama sagrada cacao. Mama cacao. Mama. In closing this ceremony, we wish to acknowledge all of these beautiful love and above frequencies, spirits, and beings that we have invoked into this sacred space. We wish to thank our beloved 7 directions, starting with the north, south, east, and west. All of the medicines of those 4 directions. The elements of those 4 directions are sacred elements, are spirit animals of those directions, are elders, all of the ancient ones who've worked with these medicines, our beautiful indigenous families who have held these medicines sacred since the beginning of time. Thank you for helping us in these almost forgotten times to come back to relationship. Thank you to our beloved Creator, our star nations, our Father Sky, Father Sun, Grandmother Moon, all of our beautiful medicines from above. Thank you to our Pachamama, our mother of all mothers who we called into this space. Thank you for taking care of us. We wish to take better care of you. Mother Earth, Pachamama, help us to take better care of you. Thank you to our own spirits. The 7th beautiful direction, our own spirits. Thank you to ourselves for coming into this beautiful space, for honoring ourselves and for honoring each other, remembering that we are mirrors of one another. Thank you to Mama Cacao, this beautiful master plant medicine. Thank you for manifesting yourself onto our plants here, our cacao theobroma plant here on earth, that we may drink you, bring you into our vessel, and go on a journey with you. Thank you for this sacred opportunity. Thank you for calling on each and every person that is here, live or on the recording, because we know that if we are here, we are being called by you, because you see a readiness in us, a shift ready to take place. You are here to help us to shed any stories, limiting beliefs, paradigms, old paradigms. And when we do that, we jump into a new space and time reality. And so when you are calling on us, we know that we are ready for that. And you're taking our hand into that space. Thank you. Thank you for calling on us. Thank you to Steve and to Cindy for hearing the calling, not only to journey with you, but also to share your medicine with others. And thank you for them for honoring the sacred indigenous lineage of the Cacao Facilitator Dieta, so that they can truly be an open vessel and embody this medicine and be of true service to others, just like it has always been intended. Thank you for this pleasure and opportunity to be here. We thank all of you spirits of love and above. We know that you are all surrounding us and that you are so happy that we have called on you today. Happier than ever, because this is everything that you've been waiting for in our lifetime, is for us to remember you and to call on you. And so we thank you for being in service with us, in ceremony with us. We send you back because the ceremony is closing. And we thank you, thank you, thank you. We look forward on calling on you again. The ceremony is closed.
And now we will give everybody a couple of moments. Steve?
Break? Oh, it's break time. Time to check out our sponsors and pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushy Moment on Pace Radio, streaming everywhere. See you in a minute.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Babe, it's spring. Just saw Robin.
Awesome. Let's get our butts to Limestone City Hydroponics. They carry Happy Frog and Ocean Forest soils and lots of promos.
Limestone City Hydroponics carry everything you need to get veggies veggin', from organic fertilizer to cloth grow pots to, well, everything. Visit them today. Don't delay. In-store, free delivery, or curbside. We're here to help. 613-548-0420.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to Save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Mushy Moment, streaming live for you here at paceradio.net and everywhere. Hope you enjoyed this ceremony, because I sure did.
That was pretty amazing. Thank you both.
Thank you both. Thank you all three, and thank you everyone who's here. It really is a group energy.
And we have had people commenting, this has been absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. Somebody else is like, I have to agree. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow. It really is so beautiful. And I wonder if anyone has anything that they'd like to share in the chat, anything that came up for them, any reflections or feelings or memories or thoughts or anything that they'd like to share. It'd be beautiful to hear from you.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have moments where something comes right away in a ceremony, and other times it can happen soon after when we go home. Certainly the next 3 days the ceremony continues, we like to say, for 3 days. There is so much that happens in the integration now. Even if you feel like, I don't know if I felt anything or anything happened, definitely there was something that was nurtured within you and your heart. And that journey continues for 3 days. So notice if anything comes up, you might feel a little emotional, or, something just comes up over the next 3 days. See if you can take the time. And if you feel comfortable in that, speaking directly to the spirit of cacao, just like we did together, please enjoy that beautiful relationship. That is what these spirit guides are here to do, is to support us. Ooh, felt shifted to tears. Oh, wow. Felt shifts and tears. Thank you, my love. Yes.
It was from Tara Gray. I know that you guys are seeing Facebook user. I'm just keeping an eye on who's saying what. So this is from Tara Gray. Thank you so much, Tara, for sharing.
Thanks for spending the time with us, because I know you're down in Mexico right now too. So thank you for spending the time and sharing this time with us while you're down in Mexico.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you, my love. And for any of you who are, maybe new, that maybe this is your first time, maybe you're familiar with other plant medicines, but not so much cacao. Maybe it's your first time in a cacao ceremony where where all three of us are in relationship with the plant spirit medicine, in ongoing cacao facilitator dietas. If this is intriguing and you're like, wow, what is cacao? I just want to learn more about cacao. We can certainly give you some information. I have a free 5-day video series, and it's a beautiful 5-day journey. Each day you'll receive a little video of me speaking about the story of cacao, going into more depth of what this medicine is. And if you have cacao, we drink together on this video. And if not, you can bring water just so that you can become familiar with holding the vessel and becoming connecting and speaking to this beautiful medicine. I'm gonna include the link in here as well for anyone who's interested. Yes. And also for any of you who, I'm going to actually put another link here too, for any of you who are, watching this and feeling like, wow, maybe you would love to one day share a cacao ceremony with your community, but you're just not sure how to be in devotion, how to honor the sacred lineage, then I want to include here in the chat as well. Oh no, you know what? I'm going to Cindy, I couldn't get into the main chat, so I'm going to put it here in our private chat. And I wonder if you can
I'll
drop.
copy and paste. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Because that's where, yeah, I'm going to include here 2 links so that you can certainly feel free to have these free resources. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it has just been such an honor. I wonder if there's anyone else who would like to share anything before we head off and continue our journeys at home.
I'll share.
Yes.
Yeah. I have been in what I call a PTSD attack for a couple of weeks. All coming from trauma related, yet it's another layer that needs to be worked on. And the layer is, I need to find forgiveness for somebody that's very close to me that did the best they could with the tools they had. And even though I have understanding, I also need to find that forgiveness. So I found it quite interesting that you brought up forgiveness of somebody that you loved twice during the ceremony. I really thought you were speaking directly to me. So I have found some peace with that, and hopefully over the next few days during my integration, that forgiveness will creep in, and it will really take hold, and I will really be able to integrate that into my life and hug that person and find some beauty.
That's so beautiful what you've shared. It reminds me so much. I'm right in the middle of another cacao facilitator dieta with another group. And in this journey, we also did a scan with this frequency device called the Healy, where we scan the group and just to see where are we holding on tight to these stories that are not allowing us to fully receive from this facilitator dieta. And did you know that in the 7 things that showed up, 2 of them were forgiving a male for all of us in the collective? And I just find it so interesting that you're also sharing this. And it's like it's a reflection. And maybe somehow I had to share this with everybody too. The importance of forgiving. Like you said, everybody just did what they could. Doesn't make it right or wrong to forgive. It just means we are allowing for more space in our heart, and we're also supporting the other person in transmuting, transcending above what happened, by allowing for that space, that love in our heart. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's such important work, especially today, forgiveness work for ourselves and of others.
I am so grateful to have been able to sit in on this opportunity. Thank you, Cindy and Steve and Judy. I think I got a notice it was happening from you on Facebook. I've been struggling for a couple of days, and the benefit of the ceremony, and grateful to have some real cacao that I picked up yesterday from a local family, and she's in Mexico. And I'm bringing some home to you, Steve.
Oh.
I feel so connected, and forgiveness for myself and others I needed to. So grateful for all 3 of you. Thank you so much again. That was Tara. Tara, thank you so much again for sharing. That's very beautiful. Thank you.
Tara, thank you. Just sharing, sharing itself is medicine for all of us. It's medicine for you to get that out of your body, and medicine for us to receive it. There are for sure others on here who maybe wish to share, but they don't know how to share. They're uncomfortable sharing. And when we hear others sharing, it just provides extra medicine for all of us. Thank you. That was so, so magical and beautiful to hear from you, Tara. Wow.
Okay, my turn.
Yes.
My turn.
Tell
us to babble now.
Yes.
I quite enjoyed it. Over the last month, I've been moving, putting stuff into storage, modifying my life in a whole new direction, and new adventures. And there's been a lot of chaos in the last month. And I just have to say that this moment brought me that calm in the chaos. I'm always talking about and seeking the calm in the chaos. And I literally have just got moved, just got settled. This is the first podcast since I've moved. And I have to say that It was very settling. So thank you to you both.
Wow. The calm in the chaos. I love this. You know, one of the chants that we love, one of the things we didn't do today, which maybe we can do in the next one, is we can provide a chanting card or a little chanting script. It's a mantra chanting, or high frequency vibrational sentences and words, proclamations, prophecies. And one of my favorite songs to chant reminds me so much of what you just said, Steve. The calm and the chaos. It's actually called Stillness in Motion. And it's by Lulu and Mishka Music. They have a beautiful Instagram website, beautiful couple. Stillness in Motion, right? They're like complete. What do you mean? How could there be stillness in motion? And how can there be calm in chaos? There can. Yeah. We can choose to be in our center and notice it all and be comfortable with it all. I mean, it's definitely work and it takes time, but just to acknowledge that is the first step. Thank you, Steve.
Oh, an absolute pleasure.
Wow.
Oh, we got, what is this one? I'm not a forgiving type. Maybe it isn't for me, ? Thanks for sharing and doing what you do, guys.
Oh.
Well, I'll speak on this one because when you have that energy and you feel you're not a forgiving type and you hold that, because you're holding something, you're hanging on to it. And if you're that type of a personality, this particular medicine is very subtle. So you may not notice that it did anything. You may not notice the feeling of anything because your energy level is high and you notice high level stuff. And sometimes things that are a more subtle, loving thing, you won't feel it, you won't find it, you won't see it yet. But the medicine always does what it does. I say that with people with my microdosing stuff. People go, well, I tried it for a little while, and it's not about a little while. The medicine always does what it does. And what it takes is the time for it to do the repair and to do the work with you and within you. And, you know, the one thing I did cacao when I was down in the jungle in Mexico doing my first ayahuasca ceremony. It was a beautiful experience, and everything that happened around me, I observed it and it was beautiful. But in that moment, I didn't believe I felt anything. I just, I watched the other people around me. I went, wow, this is beautiful. This is great. I can appreciate it, but I'm not really noticing it. And I can say, as I've done more ceremony, as I've drank more cacao, I'm finding that space. I'm finding that peace. I'm finding that forgiving, because in forgiving others, we learn to forgive ourselves. And that's the biggest one we got to get to, is forgiving ourselves. And once we do, there's a freedom that comes in that just literally, it just sets you free. All the weight comes off. And this is definitely one of the, most people are looking for the big bang. I need the ayahuasca. I need the 5-MeO. I need the, but there's something special about the essence of the subtle medicines. Because once you learn to feel the subtlety, they become louder and they speak louder. And I look forward to, finding the grace and the ability to bring myself to a place of silence where I can hear those subtle, loving messages. And I'm hoping that you do too, Facebook user, because that's all I got on you.
Facebook user. And I'm gonna celebrate that beautiful answer.
Oh, thank you.
That was so beautiful. Wow. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this is just such an honor.
Wow.
This has been a wonderful ceremony, a wonderful time with everybody, whether it be my co-facilitators here, or the people that have joined us. And whether you are watching us live, like right this second, or if right this second is a hashtag replay, I thank you for joining us. And if you are watching it on a replay, please leave a comment in the comment section. We will still get them, or reach out to one of us just to say, hey, we would love to hear what you think after you partake in this ceremony. And anybody that's watching live, like Carolyn said, she didn't get her tea in time, but she's looking forward to her tea arriving, and she's going to sit on a replay and do the ceremony. And I think that that's beautiful. And as Judy said, you can come back with your tea, your water, whatever. If you need that ceremony, if you need that, it was probably about just under an hour, that you can just take a moment and sit with us. You are welcome back anytime. And we would be honored.
Truly an honor. Cindy, Steve, thank you so much for the idea of bringing us back together to the Mushy Moment, the creator of this beautiful, beautiful show, for you both as hosts, and Cacao Ceremonialists, embodied facilitators, devoted facilitators. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And truly
again, thank you, Al Graham, for allowing us a platform to to put this beautiful, loving energy out and to share healing across the country and across the planet. Let's see how big we can grow this. It's already coming from Peru and
Ecuador.
Oh, sorry.
And we have a viewer coming to us from Mexico.
Yes.
So we have a few different countries. Yeah.
International. It's all
international online cacao ceremony. That's pretty fantastic for our first one. And Al Graham, just to let you know, he does have a cup of tea. He was going to join us, but he ended up having a meeting that he had to run off to. But we will make him. He will join the next one for sure.
Al Graham. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is it that time again?
It is. We are pretty much. We were at that time 20 minutes ago, but we had some special extra time today.
So I guess it's that time now. Thank you for joining us here on the Mushy Moment with my co-host Cindy, myself, and the ever awesome Judy Machado, Goddess Temple Cacao. Man, this was a really good show. I enjoyed it. I thank you both for being here. I thank everybody else for being here. I thank you for participating in the chat. This was incredibly awesome. I really enjoyed it. And I'm going to pop it over to you two here quickly before I hit that go. Actually, you have to hit the go. So
I have to hit the button. Yeah. So is there anything that you want to add in, Judy? Any last moment thoughts?
I just want to share maybe the possibility of a magical relationship that you can have with the spirit of cacao or any other spirit guide. Just realizing that there are spirit guides that are waiting to hear from you, for you to call their name and for you to ask for them to help you with clarity, for you to thank them, for you to build and grow and foster this amazing relationship. And so begin to realize, listen to the calling, who's calling to you, and start to speak to those beautiful cosmic spirits, because we are never alone. We are always divinely guided. And now is such a beautiful time to remember that as we go through this incredible shift in and rise in consciousness that's happening right now. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all for joining us. This has been something very exciting for me, that since I took Judy's course and we had her on the first time, it's been kind of milled around, and it's really exciting to have this ceremony today come to fruition. And I thank everybody that reached out and got a cup of tea and that joined us, whether it's live or on the replay. And I really, 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 truly, and honestly look forward to the honor of offering this again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll see y'all next week.
Much love.
Much love. Bye.
Much love.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20 is so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420 enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
I want to talk about news, don't want the drama. From no pretentious media Madonna. I found me a great ganja mama. Cannabis and coffee with some marijuana.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cannabis and Coffee with me. Last week I wasn't on, and I had scheduled my guest that's on today for last week. But I woke up Monday morning to my old girl not being with us anymore. And it was a tough day. But she was also the mother of so many of your pups. If you're watching, she was Figaro's mom. She was Dexter's mom. She was Sadie's mom. And I know that several of you have her puppies. So, yeah, she was 15. And she gave us a lot of her life and her time and her love. And she really did have the best life. She's been taken out to Steeples Vets to be cremated and added to the rest of my shrine of animals that we've loved and temporarily had in our lives. And that's the facts of it. Like, lived on a farm and realized that pets and stock, but it never makes it any easier when you lose somebody that you love, especially a large part of your life and your family. We had her before we had Taven. Same with Stitch. But he's still here. He's around here kicking. So we still got him. But anyways, we'll leave the morbidity to this beautiful April Fool's Day, where you see a bunch of fools on the highways honking and raising their flags and over a carbon tax that I have really no opinion on. I do, but I'm just not going to bring it here. We have more important things to talk about today, which is why I've got these two back on. So I'm going to bring them in. Cheryl and Haley Rose will be joining us this morning, and welcome, you guys. How you doing?
Hey, hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Hi, Haley. How you doing?
Good.
Good. So, what's new and exciting, friends?
Well, we are at just over a year now of the raw cannabis juice and microgreens. And Haley's had some tremendous results. And we are heading into year 2.
Well, I must say, you look fabulous. I can't even get over the difference from the 80-pound to this. Like, and you look like, yeah, and I've been seeing pictures of singing karaoke and going to other places and doing things you weren't able to do for a really long time. Are you having fun, honey? Are you having like so much fun?
Yeah, this summer we're gonna be going camping, and I haven't gone camping since how long?
Right before, at the beginning of about 5.5 years ago. And we weren't sure at that time how many more camping trips, so we got to go on a awesome one into Alberta to visit some
I
friends.
remember because
Yeah,
you were worried about
and now
everything else. Like,
oh yeah. But the last few years have been really hard. 2021 landed in hospital, 2022 landed in hospital. And she's been on the ketogenic diet since for 5.5 years now.
Right.
So the problem was that she started having reoccurring hypoglycemia and excessive ketosis issues, which means her blood was hitting below 3 for glucose.
Right.
And like way, way higher than what we wanted.
Right.
And these were severe enough to like 2 liters of juice. Or
Didn't you say it one time hit 1.9?
it did one. No, it hit once. Once it did hit 1.9. I mean, we talking serious, dangerous levels of, and it was recurring hugely.
Right.
So last January, before we started, so I started looking into this in September 2022. I contacted Dr. William Courtney, and when it took until March 27th last year to devise a plan that was workable to get her dietary essential raw cannabis. And of that plan, we only got to do a quarter of the prescription because of regulation issues and legality issues. So when we started, I did not know what was going to happen. We did not know the results we were going to get.
No, and the thing is, so basically, you've done like, we met Haley back in 2012, right?
Yeah, she started in 2008.
Right. But I think it was 2012 when I went out to get my license in Ottawa. That's when I first met you guys. And Haley was what, 14, 15 years old?
No, by then she was, I think, what was it, 2012? She was 15, so she was like 17, 18.
Because I'm gonna turn 31 this.
That's right. Your birthday's coming up right away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you'll be 31. Okay, so yeah, but it was it 20? It must have been 2012 when I went out to Ottawa, right? Was that? I can't even.
Yeah, because so 2008 when she started,
right?
She was just turned 15.
Right.
Right.
So, protest. I think it was 2012, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it 2012? No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was before 2012. It had to have been. Oh no.
No, it was 2012 because I got my license in 2012. It's 2024 now. That was 12 years ago. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We're just getting fucking old, Cheryl. Everybody's getting fucking old.
That's exactly.
Haley, you're gonna get fucking old too. Like, it's gonna be, you know. But like I said, I can't. So back 2012 when I first met you guys out in Ottawa. But Haley was like, "This is such a difference, comparably." And then she got like things got really bad there for a while, where her health was.
It's a deteriorating condition, right? So you're always fighting the beast.
Absolutely.
Right? You're always, and things change, and it's multiple seizures, and through growth and just growth of growing up, into an adult.
Even
all
that thing, the
oh
puberty
my
thing
god.
was really bad there for a while. So I remember that too.
Oh yeah, we've had
okay.
a couple of really close calls throughout the years.
Yeah, right.
And just managed to, mostly through the use of multiple ways of utilizing the
would you like force inhaling or force pushing vape at her when I first met you guys, right? When
Oh yeah.
And then the nose spray came along with Dr. Hornsby, which has been a lifesaver too, to be fair, right?
Oh
and
yeah, definitely.
And I guess we're just kind of picking up where we left off because you've been on my show so many times. In fact, you look back my memories, it seems like we hit April around the 1st of April every year because it's been 3 years. I had a memory come up that I was having you on my show again today. And I had you on my show 3 years ago at the same time. So it seems like they were reoccurring, but to just for new viewers, I've never met you people before. Haley's has had a childhood, epilepsy and a very rare form of it.
Lennox-Gastaut syndrome.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's been battling health. In fact, same situation. Doctors were hands in the air, didn't know what to do. Cheryl then took it upon herself to introduce cannabis into Haley's life, which has now produced this beautiful 31-year-old human that is gorgeous and she's beautiful and she keeps, going. And again, the changes, because I know a few years ago there was glasses and headphones and even the rain on the roof would cause her to have a seizure. And now, because
Well, now it's less. So she's only on a quarter of the prescription for the raw juice. So the ketogenic diet, when we started it and we were working with it, the ketogenic diet, actually, I'm sorry, I should go back right before that. So from 2008 until 2018, what is that? How many years ago? No, that's way. So 2019, 18, 19, she, from 2008 to 10 years on cannabis oral, cannabis nasal, cannabis vaped and nasal are rescue, oral. And I mean, this kid was up to hundreds and hundreds. We've done everything. We've tried all different ratios and stuff. So up until then, she was on that. Now, for the first time, this is like a double-edged sword because for the first time in 2018, she had a pinpointed area that they could finally see after her whole life, even with marked reduction of seizures due to cannabis. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Even with a marked reduction in seizures. You're so funny.
No fluffy puppies and
This is Twilight.
Hi, Twilight. I think it's great. You can hang out with us. I know you love your cats. I know you do. They've been such comfort for you for so long. I know. I have cats.
You saw something gray a little bit right here.
I do. Yeah.
He's laying on me and he keeps on falling asleep on me.
Oh, that's good though.
He's very good. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
So the EEG, even throughout the years, and it showed marked improvement, and catamenial seizures were a big issue, still are. The EEG in 2018 actually showed a pinpoint area instead of multiple seizures coming from everywhere. They kind of knew where it was coming from. The downfall was that she had 9 recorded seizures in hospital EEG video recording on the ward. We were there for 5 days or something like this. Maybe 7 days. We were there for a little while. And the problem was that out of 9 seizures, 5 were visible, which was great because he could see and we could look at the presentation and everything. But 4 of them were so completely subclinical, the neurologist could not zoom in, could not detect it. He actually was quite upset. He was giving everybody in the room heck, going, why didn't anybody push the button? Because you're supposed to push the button when there's a seizure. Nobody knew, not even her. No one knew she just continued on like nothing was going on.
Wow.
And so he was really kind of concerned about that. Because if almost half your seizures, no one can tell, it doesn't matter how good a seizure,
Yeah, I was trying it and continuing on trying. That's why they couldn't notice it was a seizure is one reason.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't there a time when she was so not like she had gone so long without a seizure that you actually had to bring on seizures so you could have these testings done, right?
Well, and that actually was last year and the year before. So what happened was we put her on the ketogenic diet, and so the cannabis had worked great, and we absolutely longevity, like long term, we saw definite long term positive effects beating this in that way. Now, when we add in the ketogenic diet, the cannabis and keto seem to work really well. There was no issues. And on keto, now we have her on a strict diet.
Was that when I kept on coming home with that stuff on me?
Yes, the wires that are hooked to your head. Yeah.
It's funny because when I had them, by the time every day they were until the time I came back, when I came back to go get them off, because they were expecting seizure effect or something. Apparently, the only time when I would have the seizure effect is the day after they take it off. So I told them that maybe you should start keeping it on a lot longer than that. Maybe I might get something then.
Right? Maybe they should listen to you because you kind of know your body better than anybody else, right?
Yeah, instead of you missing it all the time.
Right.
So what happened was in 2021 and 2022, we did the at-home EEGs. And so what happened was these EEGs were, the first one showed a slow spike wave without formation, which means they classified it as no seizure stuff for 3 days. The thing was that Haley was already combating severe reoccurrent hypoglycemia in that. So during the time frame that she's getting recorded, not the 2018 ones, but the 2021, 2022. Oh, sorry. For those ones, she for those two, she had no seizure activity. In the last one, there was no seizure activity. The glucose was bottoming out. So we were literally giving her rescue intervention for the hypoglycemic issues and the low glucose in order to stabilize her enough longer than 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And so when we went into the hospital and they replaced the batteries, they checked the leads and everything. I asked her, I said, could you quickly just check and see is what happening with her? Is it truly hypoglycemic issues? Because she can actually have seizures from hypoglycemia too. Right. So we had to look out at balancing. So now the double-edged sword will fix it, but then, so while she's having a clear EEG, we're pummeling her full of juice and fruit and whatnot to keep her where she needs to be. And the EEG is clear while this is happening.
Right.
And so the doctors are like, okay, we like that it's clear. Keep them high.
Right.
Couldn't get the proper stability. And that happened 2 years in a row. And the thing is that you pummel somebody full of all these carbohydrates, and then eventually you're going to get that stability. But what also happens is you're going to get the drop in the ketones.
Yeah.
So those sugars are going to finally regulate. The ketones are going to drop, and you're going to have seizure activity.
Right.
So it was like, up, down, and then so dangerous because, like I said, twice in hospital. There was a 400 plus listserv that the dietitians sent out to of dietitian specialists, keto doctors. We had the neurology, we had the endocrinology 2 years in a row. Nobody knew how to fix it. They said, just keep doing what you're doing. So that summer of 2022, I got really concerned because her in 2020 to 2021, her ratio was actually 4-1 on her diet. Then it was dropping down to 2-1. And we're struggling to remain stable with glucose not falling out and everything. That should not be happening. So how do you fix it? If you add in enough of the one, you're going to drop the ketones. We couldn't get a balance.
Right.
We couldn't keep her stable. And yet it was just a big nightmare. So I spoke with Dr. Courtney, worked with him, and then we devised a plan, initiated it last year. And the difference is, the findings are, because I ran over 400 keto blood and glucose testings with the Precision Freestyle blood monitoring system, which is utilized by diabetics and under certain conditions when doctors said you need to be monitoring these things. It's quite often used for the keto diet and that, because it's more accurate than urine testing.
Right.
So she went in January 2023. She had 75 hypoglycemic events that required additional glucose and additional carbohydrates, whether it was through vegetables, fruit. We kind of moved away from juices. Juices is like last ditch effort to throw in, and move towards actual foods, because they last longer in your system, right? Because than the juice. So she started the juice March 27th. And the hope at this point, and I've been looking for it almost a year, right? Because September, I contacted Dr. Courtney. We just had a horrible summer. We were worried that the diet would keep dropping and those ketones would keep going, and either we would have to completely take her off it and lose that seizure control, or it was just going to keep bottoming out and her body would just keep going. It was in shock. It was not doing well. It was just breaking down badly. So we started the raw cannabis quarter prescription March 27th. By the end of September, she had 25. So I put them as non-conclusive because she did not require treatment for them. It was either snack time, meal time, or overexertion of energy. So made sense. She had no symptoms, right? So they weren't symptomatic. But even if you include them as inclusive to the set, 75 to 25 is a huge difference.
Right.
And so we had 3.5 months for a base, and then we had 6 months of actual data and watch of reduction, and it shows it. And then I did 21 days where we had none. So it took 41 days for her to really start seeing those good effects.
Right.
Accomplishing what we wanted to see.
Right.
And then when we took her off for about 21 days, then we started to see those compound and become more consistent. So very similar, well, dietary essential, very similar to a vitamin supplement, anything like that, in the way that it was regulating her body. Now, a lot of people be like, well, why didn't you just use something else? Well, like I mentioned, it would bring down the ketones. What doesn't happen or has not happened in Haley's case is it didn't bring down the ketones. It regulated the sugars. Just as we know that cannabis can help diabetes, raw dietary essential cannabis as a food is very, very powerful in regulation like that. So it didn't affect the ketones, which meant that it's actually fixing something within your system and getting it to where we would expect it to be. Her blood now, for the majority, because she's obviously only a quarter, is more stable. It's hitting the numbers that we expect to see. We run into less issues. But now for year 2, we are going to be doing we're applying for a section 140 part 1. We have a lawyer that has agreed to do that now. So for year 2, it's full prescriptions of microgreens. We've already been doing some work with the microgreens, but now we're really going to dive into it because for her diet, it's actually a necessity for her to consume it.
So microgreens, which we haven't really talked yet about, we'll get into the microgreens in the second portion of the show. So right now with the juice, you've just been using basic. What are you putting into the juices? Is it just raw leaf, bud leaf, and you're just juicing, or is it just what are you juicing?
It's just okay. So if you look up Dr. Courtney's recommendations, I've basically done that just a little bit different. Just like my protocol is slightly different, and I've stabilized the protocol. It's just raw leaf, man. I'm not like, it's like raw leaf and bud. That's it.
We
right,
put it
basically.
in smoothies, so it's
Yeah, like
raw leaf and fruit.
it's already just like if you look at Dr. Courtney's videos, he'll show you how to juice it. That process, like I said, I have it tweaked a little bit that we've been doing specific for her for the next year, and that'll all come out in the paper, exactly the protocols that I'm doing in order to create the stuff. So that's coming, but right now, and if you want to know how to do it, literally just look at his. Okay. So that and so with the microgreens, she gets the fiber and the food, right? So it's more filling.
Right.
I put hers into different drinks or whatever that she has because the taste is really bad.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I mean,
it's really bitter.
Juicing is not something that is new. I mean, we've been talking about cannabis juicing for about 5 years now, I guess. I know lots of people that do it. They make it, they store it in ice cube trays, and they,
yes, exactly.
Trays, and they take that ice cube and put it into like apple juice, or even into your coffee or whatever you're drinking.
We do cold. We do raw, unpasteurized. Like it's raw, right? If you want, because we want the acid still on it,
right?
And if we put it into something hot, it's not going to have that acid on
Oh,
it.
okay. So I didn't know that. That's a good point. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Oh, yeah. Then you might as well.
I didn't know you can put.
have
I guess that makes sense to pull off the acid. What was I thinking?
You want the acid to stay raw, so
you can put it into apple juice, right?
Yeah. Or well, whatever you think would taste good with it to kill the bitterness.
Well, yeah, because it's like you can take it straight up if you want to. So but it doesn't taste good.
It's a little harder on taste and stuff. So if you have palatability issues or whatever, you might not like it as much, right?
Oh my God.
However,
hang on a second.
Yep.
I'm on my show. Alvin. Okay, I'll phone you back. Every time. Every show. Every time. Whether it's Wednesday night or Monday morning. The guy just doesn't like. Anyways. But again, people have been like juicing, but it's beneficial health-wise, right?
Actually, so do you remember when the CBD gold rush happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the CBD gold rush happened, and all these people who could not get access to CBD back then, many of the families turned to raw cannabis and THCA. And so Dr. Courtney was actually doing a lot of work back then. So I would hear about families who couldn't access CBD that were utilizing THCA. Some of them had the most incredible results. Some of them called it, said it was comparable to CBD. And then I know other families who just in general, the overall general health benefits are huge. So when you have somebody with seizures or any medical condition where if you get sick, you're really screwed, right? Health-wise, right? Raw cannabis was dietary essential added into your foods, like your regular, part of your regular diet. And it gives that overall health and well-being. Like Haley says, you have more energy. What else? You described it really good the other day.
More energy, more better at stuff. Like, for example, I could only finish half a book before, and I can finish a full book.
Oh yeah. So it seems to work extremely well with the diet. Like, as I was saying, it didn't have the same impact that like a carbohydrate would have. It has got this completely different benefit going on.
But it brings the sugar levels. It balances the sugar levels, but doesn't knock the ketones down because it's adding carbohydrates. It's going to make it worse. It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And for people who are not on keto that we're juicing, they were getting the results of overall health, like enough that their parents were like, yeah, we want the juice.
The hardest part about this whole situation is the amount of cannabis that's required and the amount of licensing that's the ability of the patient to grow. And because legally, if you're not medical, you can only grow 4 plants, right? And if you're medical, and like I said, we're going to take a break here like in 2 seconds, and then we'll get into the microgreens. That prescription for microgreen production is huge. And trying to convince anybody to give you and convince them that you're only growing this,
this big, man,
not this. It never goes into flower ever, right? It never ever.
You can't even tell if it's a boy or a girl from looking at the
right. Exactly. So, but at the end of the day, it still says 10,000 per month.
Oh, easy. Yeah, it's a lot.
Right?
We'll get into that after the break, and I'll tell you what.
Right now, we're going to thank our sponsors, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty of the whole thing. Be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinion.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBG TV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
Pace Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyendinaga.
We have 2 lines of drinks. One's called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right, we're back. All right, so
I was going to say, so when Haley was saying about the half books and reading, so what happened is Haley's always loved reading. She'd read about half the book or so, but because of seizures, she'd have to restart. She'd forget.
Right.
He wants to show you what she has read.
I wouldn't just
Oh,
forget.
sorry.
Sometimes the reason why I was reading a half book, when I read half of it, I would go on to another one and another one because usually it's too hard and I have to ask or go into a dictionary to look up the word. But now I can read full books and I don't need help even with hard, long words.
Let's show you what Haley has done since the end of November.
Yes, I'm so. I just love this.
I will take your key.
Like I can't alliterate how much I love watching the improvement and how great it is to see her like this.
First book I was reading was this one. Next book I read was in December, since it was a Christmas book, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as I was done that, I went on to this one. Then I went on to this one.
Oh, that's so great.
Then I went on to this one.
Wow.
Went on to this one.
Woo-hoo! And there's more. Look at you go.
Then I went on to
So incredible.
this one. Then I went on to this one.
How do you keep up with her now?
I know.
Like, how are we keeping up to you? Like, geez, you like
and then I went on to this one. I would stay on those books.
We need number 4
and 4.5.
Yes.
Wow.
And now until I get those ones, 4 and 4.5, I'm reading this one.
Awesome.
But it took me a couple of days or a couple of weeks, I forget, until I wanted to read this because
it's a big.
I was hoping the other book actually would finish the story, but apparently it didn't.
Yes, and now we need the follow-up in the series.
Oh, that's disappointing when you get to a certain point. You're just waiting and anticipating to find out the rest of the story, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's a lot of books to finish. Whoops.
Yeah, I remember there was a time that you wouldn't have been reading anything at all. And I just say that, but I mean, that's the difference. Like I said, if we've been watching your journey for so long, and our producer Al was going to be taking part of this show and adding it to the clips that he's already got about
awesome.
And we're going to start promoting all of that on the network too, right? Because we want to get your story out, because this is incredible. Like, this is like watching a flower go from this to this, right? And that's you, Haley. You were in a little seed. You were a little seed, but then all this magical things have happened, and now you're flourishing into a beautiful flower. And cannabis and all the stuff, the food, the diet, everything that's combined. And that's incredible. And that you fought so hard for this show. You both fought hard for it, or you wouldn't have it at all.
She's teaching us.
Right? Like, it's incredible. So now, what brought you into bringing or even thinking about sprouts? What was your mindset? Because you were juicing, right?
I knew right from the get-go we were going to have to go with sprouts.
Okay, but what was your mindset? Like, why would you think that would be different or better than juicing? Like, whatever. Like, what was your mindset?
Because of her diet, it literally comes
the
down
keto
to
diet. So you already knew about because they're so important with the keto, that green
fiber.
And again, you've had research done. Like, you guys have been doing this, right?
Oh,
Let me go ahead and tell how it kind of started, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, it was from September till around until she started in March. It was research. I had spoken to agricultural universities, you name. I've talked to everybody since last September, right? A year and a half now. So, and what happened was, because on the ketogenic diet, there can be, you need to be able to have your fiber. big time, because constipation and impaction are very real and very dangerous. And we're talking about medically frail people that are typically on it. So in order to
she still has some leaning onto pharmaceutical, right? Or no?
Yeah, no, she still does. But now that we're
That's
getting
something might never change, right? Exactly. But that's something that you are up and down with too. But again, there's some of us, including myself, that will never not be able to use.
There's certain ones, even if we could get her off most of it, there's certain ones we may never get her
right,
off.
and that's okay. And that's okay.
It is.
That's okay. It is. You wouldn't tell a diabetic not to take their insulin. And you're not saying that this whole situation here with using microgreens and juicing is going to cure anybody's diabetes, because that's not the case. And
No.
But this is not medical information by any stretch, because we are not.
And this is what we're doing is all research purposes, is non-marketable. Okay, so
exactly.
Let's get that really clear.
Exactly. This is not a sales pitch for anybody. This is not. This is your story about what you've done to make this result for yourselves.
Yeah.
If it can help somebody else, all the power to it.
Exactly.
Right.
And as we go into year 2, we're looking at the full prescriptions, because the application is going to be for the microgreens to actually produce them and for the quantity of them, as well as there's specific kind of testings that I need to do. And when I'm looking at consistency, variety, and all that, in order to incorporate everything together and actually look at the real benefits of it. So with the diet, so in any juice at all, right? It doesn't, it can be any juice. You're not getting the fiber content. And what happens is you end up, if you're taking X amount of juice that you have to require, you're not going to get that fiber content in, and you're not going to get a variety within your meals. So your nutrients aren't going to come from a multiple different types of foods, which we like to see. There are cases like in tube feeding where there are different things, but those, when you're looking at something like that, then you're also looking at what's already set in play in order to combat certain issues, right? It's a whole different ballgame, but there is strategies to that as well. Haley can still eat, and even though she's got major jaw and bone issues due to years and years of pharmaceuticals, which we already knew, and I knew that they told me, they said, if she, we'll put her on it, she could end up having these issues later, but let's get her to later, was the whole point. Get her to later.
Exactly.
Deal with that later, right? Yeah. So when we look at that, Haley loves food. Why would I? And with a restrictive diet, and now, there are creative ways of working with it. We also work with a dietitian and doctors. So it's not like we're not just freewheeling it over here by any means.
Well, no, you never have, though. That's the thing. Like, because of the, and I mean, because of the situation that you've been very close with your neurologist and with the doctors, because of the fact that they want to see her improve and do better too. And let's face it, like, right from the get-go, cannabis has helped her stay alive in whatever form you have given it to her, right? And there are other children across, in the world that are seeing the same benefits using different tools within that toolbox of cannabis, right? Because there's so many things that can be ripped apart from that one plant, be it strain, be it hemp, be it whatever, right? Like, there's so many different copious uses for it, right? Now, again, we're talking raw plant matter, and we're talking not even plant matter, we're talking micro sprout. We're talking
so the micro sprouts. Okay, when you look in general at microgreens, we know that microgreens pack a lot of nutrients in them, and so that's great. So we know that they've got lots and lots of nutrients in them. So people are already interested in different microgreens.
Right, absolutely.
When you look at cannabis microgreens, the benefit of them is that you're getting the fiber, you're getting more nutrients, which there are certain tests that still have to be done that we're looking at. But you're also getting, so Haley likes them. They're not nowhere near as bitter as your juice. They actually have a little bit of a tang. Haley actually really likes them. And you said they were filling? You said
it's more filling than having it with raw cannabis.
The juice, yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's still like it's right? It's still fiber, considering that, and the juice is just liquid. So of course it would be filling. And you can put that like on a sandwich or put it on top of your salad or
anything, right? You can have it
if you want to. Now, is it best to keep it raw? Do you want it dry? You want to just keep it
raw?
Right?
Like your alfalfas, like your broccoli, macaroni, like all
right,
my
herb and sprinkle on top of stuff later.
If you don't keep it raw, it doesn't work properly.
Yeah,
right, so it just be fresh. Like that's what I mean. We have to be sure that we make sure it's fresh. It can't be dried like a herb. It's got to be fresh. You can't just take a pinch of your dry bud and
the raw has so many benefits, right? I mean, you can extract acidic cannabinoids, and that obviously whenever we do our most cold extractions, that's what you're basically doing. But there are dietary benefits to the actual plant. And we see that when we look at published papers on microgreens, as far as hemp microgreens. So when we look at that, we can kind of get a view of what we're looking at when we're working with a higher THCA dominant strain. So it kind of gives us a view. We'll have more information. That's all in year 2 that we're doing. We're expanding on all of that. And the taste is there, the flavor, you're getting that full feeling. So on a diet that's extremely restrictive, high fats, she's not getting those options, and wanting to make sure that she's getting a multitude of different options. She can still eat and chew. I want to take advantage of that, right? Eventually, one day that may not be the situation, and maybe she'll be drinking it. Who knows?
The only reason why at one day I might be having to drink it is because my mommy was telling you about the bones. One of the bones is I have no jaws, so my teeth are pulling out. That's why at some point I'm going to be needing to drink it instead of chewing it.
Yeah.
So quality of life.
Yep.
And in on multiple levels, right? Quantity and quality. We want that stability to come through.
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
The funny thing is, okay, when we start talking about cannabis microgreens and the seeds, okay, that's a fun one. Nobody likes that. And last year you were so helpful. We were trying to get seeds, right? And everybody just thought I was insane trying to go.
And I know, and making those sending those messages saying, would you happen to have and then even like I said, it was like donations. They don't even have to be feminized. They don't even have to be anything as long as they sprout this big and can stay alive for 10 days. That's it. That's all we cared about, right? And again, hemp seeds, anything. We were trying to gather whatever we could, and then we'd find some, and then we hit a wall, and then we find some more, and we'd hit a wall because everybody's like, "Why do you need so many seeds?" And it's like,
I know. Nobody could we were going to just grow them, and she was going to eat them all.
That's it. And it's not the matter that people weren't willing. It's a matter of people didn't have enough.
Exactly.
And, there was just not enough production of seed that would cover this, right? But I'm still on that mission. I think you probably got a couple more messages.
Go agriculture, right? Like I said, I've been talking to the universities since September 2022.
Right. If it was
all of them, and they're very interested, right?
Of course, they should be. And if it was as easy as having just straight hemp seeds, you got hemp farmers that grow 82 ton a year, which could then be not shelled and be used, but the THC or THCA level and hemp is not enough.
Well, it's the CBDA. It is.
Right? So you need the difference. You need cannabis sprout rather than hemp sprout, and that's the difference.
Well, so the reason why, stigma, right? Even I'm a victim to it as well, man.
Right.
Because I went with THCA because I knew that THC, which is completely different than THCA, and that's where the stigma lies, is understanding the complete differences. And it's even though I know it, I'm pre-programmed against it, So when we started, Haley has never done well on high CBD. No. 1-to-1 is max for her. More than that will actually cause her to have seizures. So we don't do high CBD. I'm she's not typical for seizures in that way. That's okay. There is plenty of people out there who do not get the classic result of high CBD for their seizures. Right. So I went with the high THCA dominant because even though I know CBD and CBDA is different, she was so frail. I didn't want to mess around. I wanted to go in with the secure route of I knew that the THCA wasn't going to be an issue, right? Because of years of messing with the formulations for her, I already knew that wasn't going to be an issue. I didn't know what the CBDA would be like. I knew CBD was horrible. So that's how we ended up in that area, going with cannabis rather than hemp.
Right.
For the microgreens. But you can do hemp microgreens as well. I mean, like, there's no reason why you couldn't be doing either or at both.
Right. But you want, like I said, trying to get the ability of unshelled hemp seed even is tough, right?
Viable.
Right? Like industrial hemp seed, right? I remember getting it from back in what year was that? 2008, 2009, so that we could spread it in the fields and overgrow the government type of thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right. So we had access, and now we should still be up, but hemp is not the same, and we don't have big sacks like that of cannabis seeds. And never mind the fact that you can't produce legally that much cannabis either. So the access to even be able to buy that many seeds in a store is
really hard, and the people who are producing are not producing that quantity.
No, like
I'm going to touch on something that's really going to make a lot of seed producer. It could upset them, or else they can see what I'm seeing when it comes to agriculture and the industry. I don't know. It is my opinion. Okay, it's my opinion, and so my opinion in all this is based on over 400 quantitative blood tests, right? Like, I'm looking at it from that way. And I actually, when I did the testing in that, I did it so that what was I going to say?
Before the blood testing, so you have proof for evidence.
Oh yeah, okay. So when I did the blood tests, and I did all testing through laboratories or through anything that was quantitative, because I'm the mom. Well, we're observational has a high bias of probability, right? So right. I didn't want people going, oh well, mom thinks this. No, just look at the data. You look at the data speaks for itself. I have nothing to do with that, right? I'm just analyzing it along with everybody else. And that's why I kind of did it that way. So what I want to say about the accessibility of high THCA cannabis seeds for microgreens is that the issue is cost. So you know what it actually should be. So if you go and you were to go to the store and buy a bag of broccoli microgreen seeds, you're paying anywhere from 21 to 30 roughly for a 200-gram bag. That's what you should be doing with your cannabis seeds.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like nothing more. Like, the same way. And I think as research, because hopefully people will pick up on, be interested in what we're doing, would like to collaborate with us, agriculture, seed producers, microgreeneries, things like that, as things move forward and continue to go forward. I'm hoping that people are going to get more interested in that and more of the agricultural aspects due to the overall health. Why can't I go buy Haley's cannabis microgreens in the store? But first, we have to get to that part. That's what the research we're doing right now is.
That again, and that's a whole conversation that we've had. But I don't think we should throw that too far out there until we have some more evidence-based
there's like
information on what can be actually done, because that would be changing a whole legislation. Right. And that's not as easy as like, you know, and I'm like in the back of my head going, yay. But then I looked into the
long process. It's not an easy process.
Not an easy process. And it's not going to be overnight. And it's going to take years. So again, this is the beginning of that process. Right. So we're going to mark this day 2024, and in 10 years from now, because we'll come back to this show. We'll probably still be doing it. Maybe not, but you know, and mark this day as the beginning to seeing cannabis becoming an agricultural product like it should be, and that's always meant to be. And eat your greens, right? And this is, like I said, either whether it be hemp, if you have access to cannabis seed, then sprout it, eat it. You don't have to grow it to have it be health beneficial on different levels, right? And again, I'm not saying don't grow your beautiful plants out and juice your buds and, you know, and smoke your weed and your cannabis and do it, you know, extracts and all your stuff. But there are so many benefits to this.
Well, Haley still has her. Oh, I should tell you, Haley's not on her regular activated oral anymore.
Yeah, you were telling me that too.
Yeah, now we're still running into issues with cadmium time because we are in the process of trying to get the full prescription.
Right.
And in her case, it is very clear from all the data. I've run the microgreens, I've run, you know, the juices, I've run all that stuff. I have all the COAs, the analytical stuff that we need to know on that, that we are legally allowed to do at this point.
Right.
Which is why with the Section 140, I want to expand on that in order to make it properly incorporated into her diet, which is the main point of all this is being able to get it into her diet.
Again, like, it's not like you're going to be doing this for any other purpose but for her. You know, it's not like you're going to be having greenhouses full of it, and then, you know, like, and then what? You eat it. It's not smokable. You eat it. Eat your greens, damn it. Right? Like,
if she still needs her activated cannabis for her cadmium time or vape, then she will still get that as well. Absolutely.
Right.
It's about it working together and giving her the highest possible health, the most energy. So she doesn't use her headphones as much now.
Oh, that's great.
Like, she's gone out to things. She's, you know, now can use cushions in a vehicle and couldn't for years and years. We had to only go with the wheelchair. We still need the anti-vibration wheelchair for buses and for the SkyTrain, but those are a lot bigger motors, right? So,
but that's incredible because, like I said,
and she's only on a quarter of it, right?
Plus, moving lights don't bother me anymore, and other sounds.
If it was like really intense, then it would. But at a quarter of her prescription,
if we should have focused
prescription going to get, is it going to finish off the stability that it appears as though it will?
Well, she's much more stable now. She like, and I'm not talking about you like you're not in the room, Haley. You have come so far. You are finishing full sentences. You're talking. I can see your eyes in your face. How much change there is. And I really appreciate you coming on my show and showing everybody, the world, who you are, and that we can keep seeing the progress that you've made. Because if I go back in time, you've probably been on my show about probably 7 times. I think I've had you on every year for the last 10 years, pretty much, I guess. So we've watched your progress, and we'll continue to watch your progress and keep bringing you back on. And so we can watch your beautiful face as you go through this great thing and this great journey. So I really appreciate you both being on the show today again. And we will keep watching and keep waiting for more great news coming out of you two. I'm so glad that you continue to fight. And that's the thing, Cheryl, you continue to fight, right? Like, you continue to keep researching and opening your mind and keep educating yourself and educating people around you. Because really, if it wasn't for you educating the neurologist, the psychologist, all these medical professionals, all these lab technicians, all these people that you pick the phone up and call and write and take the time to educate, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be sitting here. And that's all because of the hard
She's
work.
teaching me, and of course other greats like Dr. Hornby, Dr. Courtney, Dr. Russo. I mean, there's so many doctors and then advocates. I mean, honestly, Haley's entire journey, right back to 2008, has been really a community venture. It really has. It's been, the community has held us up when, you know, things, regulations or laws or, you know, glitches in the system had us falling through cracks.
Yeah. Well, that's what having a cannabis community is all about. And that's why we keep fighting to continue to have it, even through legalization. And you know what? We've have had legalization, and there's one good thing about the whole thing. Crime rates for possession are down 95%.
That is excellent.
So
that means people aren't going
we're
to
not getting arrested for possession of cannabis anymore. 95%. There's nobody getting handcuffed and thrown in the back of a car for having a joint. Nobody's being arrested. And that was one of the main points in access. People are getting more access. It might not be the regulations that we want. It might not be the milligrams that we need for as patients, but there's a store, which means that somebody that wouldn't have gone into a store because there was a stigma of being bad can go into a store now and get access to medicine if they need to, if they want to try it. So access and the law, that's just two bonuses. Now there's still lots of things, but the reviews.
Well, now it's good.
Yeah, now it's good, but that was sad back then.
It was.
Right? And we had to fight really hard to get that. So you guys hang tight in the back room so we can say goodbye after the show. I'm going to wrap this up, play the end intro, and thank everybody for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors, Legacy 420, Limestone Hydroponics, and Campbellford Lifestyle.
This is a reminder. Shower.
Oh, see, it's now telling me that it's time to get ready for work.
This is.
I have to have those, or I'm like a squirrel. I lose my way. So again, thank you too for being on the show, and thanks to our followers and viewers and our sponsors. We'll see you next Monday. I'll see you Wednesday night on the Pace Radio Show, which runs at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard and 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy 420, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548 420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
You're a former organizer of a march and attended some over the years.
Yeah.
Why did you march? Why did you march in the Global Marijuana March? What was the reason why?
I wanted law reform. I didn't believe that a plant should be prohibited, be illegal. It was a plant. People were going to jail for small amounts of cannabis. And patients, people that were using it for medical purposes, were going to jail for the use. Grant Krieger was thrown in jail in Calgary for the use of his cannabis. And I just saw the injustice in all of it. And it was just ridiculous that people that were finding relief using this plant should be being persecuted for it. So I organized, because it was worldwide, and I saw an article where Dana Beale, I was reading High Times, and Dana Beale there was an article about Dana Beale in the High Times, and it said, if you want to join in, contact this. And I sent him an email. Next thing you know, I got this big package in the mail with all these Global Marijuana March posters, and I just started posting them all over the place. And me and Alvin showed up on the front steps of City Hall with a table and a bunch of posters and waited for people to come.
There you go. Perfect. So if I said to you, or said to you, to fill in the blank, I march for, that answer that you just gave would be massive, and every reason was perfect. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many reasons, and so many people can't march that you have to go march for.
Yeah, exactly.
There's people that worked back then that were closet users, right? That couldn't stand up, couldn't speak out because they lose their job. So that was another reason too. I had friends that were in, healthcare and stuff, and they all smoked because they had arthritis and they'd been, working on their feet didn't drink, and they would have lost their jobs. I would have lost my job. In fact, I did. I quit my job at H&R Transport because I was drug tested and got caught smoking.
Well, I thank you for your answer on that, and I am sending out a request to our viewers tonight, and anybody who watches this as a podcast afterwards, to create themselves a little video saying "I march for," and explain what you march for when it comes to the global cannabis end of things, and post it. Maybe tag the Toronto Global Marijuana March, or post it on their wall, or post it on any other Global Marijuana March location, and share with your friends so that you get people interested back into the marches in order to create change, and the same reason why you started.
Right. And somewhere was it Germany, I believe?
Germany.
This too, but not in the same, but again, everybody's moving in that direction.
Right.
But then you have Philippines, and then you have Thailand, and you have all these other countries Iraq and that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we better get back onto the review thing here, because there's lots of reasons why to march. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.